The Pristine Dhamma Maga to end the dukkha of samsara, the Dhamma declared by the Buddha. To find the clearest answer to this in our Dhisana, we must visit the Buddha's first Dhisana after realization of the Buddhahood. I think the most appropriate answer is found there. We all know after experiencing the enlightenment, the Buddha spent a few weeks near the bo tree to analyze intelligently Dhamma he discovered, and then he was deciding. I have realized the truth, I am relieved of dukkha, I have ended traversing in samsara, and now I should disclose this pristine Dhamma Maga to those beings that are going through dukkha induced by dukkha. After thinking like that, he searched around to ascertain to whom he should disclose the Dhamma. He first thought of disclosing it to his teachers that he associated before enlightenment, Alara Kalama, and Udakarama, etc., and he found out that those ascetics were already deceased. Then because he realized that if he disclosed this Dhamma to the 5 ascetics with whom he spent long time practicing ascetic Dhamma would be intelligent enough to understand this profound Dhamma, he decided to disclose it to them. That Dhisana is what we all know, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. That is where the Dhammacakka Dhisana was conducted for the first time. The first Dhisana. It is here we can find the answer to the question, what is the Dhamma disclosed by the Buddha? The Buddha, after starting to disclose Dhamma to the 5 ascetics, first talked about 4 truths. Instead of narrating the whole sutta, I am going to pick only the ones pertaining to our subject. So, what did the Buddha say? He talked about 4 truths, 4 noble truths. We call it Caturarya Sathya. What is the first truth? It is the Dukkha Sathya. At first, the Buddha had explained the dukkha. That is Dukkha Sathya. The Buddha had described what everyone knows in Pali, Jathipi dukkha, Jarapi dukkha, Vyadipi dukkha, Maranampi dukkha, Pyavipi yogo dukkha, etc. It means, birth is dukkha, aging is dukkha, illness is dukkha, death is dukkha, separation from beloved is dukkha, dealing with detested is dukkha, not getting desirables is dukkha, getting undesirables is dukkha. After keep saying like this, he had ended it up by saying, Sankithena Panchchapadanaskana dukkha. That means, the Exalted One had said, in short, this whole Panchchapadanaskana is dukkha. Therefore, this discourse is very important. As we pay attention to it, we will realize the significance of this utterance. In the modern world, we know that we try to understand unknown things via known things. You may have heard that the Buddha had used this technique first time in the world. The Buddha started with birth is dukkha, aging is dukkha, falling ill is dukkha, death is dukkha, separation from beloved is dukkha, dealing with detested is dukkha, not getting desirables is dukkha, and everyone has experienced this dukkha, even a little kid. Even a little child would cry if his toys were broken, lament at the loss of a mother or father, or feel awful when sad things befall. No one in the world was capable of even thinking about the dukkha beyond what we mentioned. Everyone knows the heap of dukkha we described starting with birth to the end. In this bhava, in this life itself, everyone experienced this dukkha. The Buddha had used this to talk about it. However, Buddhas appear not to talk about this dukkha. When we analyze the Dhamma deeply, it is very clear that this dukkha existed every day. Everyone knew about dukkha. There were many teachers before and at the time of the Buddha. There were many religions. There were many practices. Then to get out of this dukkha many came up with multiple plans. Some thought that the dukkha was an act of a creator god, otherwise, it had naturally arisen, or might be the sun and the moon the cause, and they thought that they could eliminate dukkha by worshipping thick forests, trees and climbers, or giant mountains. The Buddha had appeared in a time full of conflicting ideas like these existed, in a very dark period. What I wanted to say is that people had known about this dukkha. That is why they went for help after various things. These things existed always in the world. However, Buddhas do not appear to disclose this dukkha. There is something beyond this. The Buddha had stated it by Sankhithena Panchchapadanaskana dukkha. The Buddha realized this Panchchapadanaskana dukkha for the first time at his enlightenment. This was the most supreme Dhamma that he realized. However, people would not understand it easily if talked about it straight away. That is why the Buddha talked about the first part of dukkha, that means he talked about known dukkha first, disclosed at the end that the panchuppadanaskana dukkha is the main dukkha. However, if talked about this panchuppadanaskana dukkha at once, none will understand. Why? This is a very profound Dhamma. Must understand this. We are unaware of this dukkha. This is where we should go. The Buddha's Dhamma begins at what we said earlier, Jathipi dukkha, Jarapi dukkha, Vyadipi dukkha, Maranampi dukkhan, Pyavipayogo dukkha, and to end that journey, we should know the real dukkha. Real dukkha means panchuppadanaskana dukkha. It was this process of activities, the methodology to perceive and understand panchuppadanaskana dukkha what the Buddha had disclosed. Panchuppadanaskana dukkha is the core dukkha, the gist of the doctrine. Buddhas appear to disclose this. They discover this supreme truth. The Buddha had continued to talk about the heap of known dukkha, and had ended up by saying Sankhyathena panchuppadanaskana dukkha. Then he had pointed out that this dukkha is neither produced by nature, nor a creation of someone either. This dukkha is a result of a certain cause. This dukkha has arisen because of a specific reason. He termed that reason, Dukkha samudaya ariya sathya. What is the reason for that dukkha? The cause for this dukkha's arising is tanha. Everyone knows tanha, or may have heard about it. When the Buddha talks about tanha, he announces that there are three grouping of tanha, namely, kama-tanha, bhava-tanha, and vibhava-tanha. Kama-tanha means, having the eye contacted in rupa, clinging onto the pleasing object, enjoys it. Listening to desirable sound by the ear enjoys it. Having tongue contacted a delicious food item, one develops attachment and enjoys the taste. Having nasal contact on a likable smell, one develops attachment and enjoys the sensation. Similarly, tastes to the tongue and intentions for the mind. There are 6 faculties within a human being: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. It is the gathering of suitable external objects via these 6 faculties and enjoyment of these external objects is what people do. It means, rupa for the eye, sounds for the ear, odors for the nose, flavors for the tongue, sensations for the body, and mental objects for the mind. The desire for these things or the tanha for these objects is what the Buddha had meant by kama tanha. Having eye contacted a pleasing rupa, one develops attachment. Kama having ear contacted a desirable sound, one develops attachment. Kama using all these faculties, gathering of objects, enjoyment of them, indulgence, is called kama. The Buddha had disclosed another tanha identified as bhava-tanha. Bhava-tanha is the desire to be born repeatedly and repeatedly. Already born people die. After death, want to be born repeatedly. This is bhava-tanha. Next, vibhava-tanha. People think that there is no repeated birth. Life ends here. Even there, what is developed is the desire for enjoyment. Crave to have fun as long as there is life and die. This is vibhava-tanha. As such, dukkha ariya sathya dukkha what we mentioned earlier occurs because of kama-tanha, bhava-tanha, and vibhava-tanha. The Buddha had said if the cause of dukkha is tanha, what we have to do to free us from dukkha is to get rid of tanha, ending of dukkha. Therefore, must end this dukkha. Thus, it is obvious as explained earlier that the dukkha would never end by the worship of various things, by going after a range of things, worship of trees, rocks, veneration of sun, moon, or making offerings and having devoutness to gods, or by undertaking vows or contract with deities. Dukkha is within us. Positively, reason for dukkha is tanha. The Buddha had discoursed the 5 ascetics that destroy of tanha would end dukkha that day. Then the second truth the Buddha unveiled was dukkha samudaya sathya. It means the cause of dukkha is tanha. The third arya sathya is ending of dukkha, state of being released from dukkha, freedom from dukkha. What do we do to be freed from dukkha? Then, what does it mean by freeing from dukkha? It is ending of this tanha. Nirvasya nirodha. Dukkha would end the same day if the tanha were destroyed, without any residue. That is dukkha nirodha sathya. Extinction of tanha is termination of dukkha. Then the Buddha said that there is a certain process to end this tanha. We cannot do it by whatever the way convenient to us. The Buddha declared that this process of activities as dukkha. Nirodhagamani patipada sathaya. The way to end this dukkha. A process of activities with 8 elements. There is a procedure to practice this dukkha ends with the completion of it. Achieving the Nirodha. This path, which consists of 8 elements, is the Noble Eightfold Path with 8 elements. Samadhi, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vācā, Samma Kammanta, Samma Jiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, and Samma Samadhi. Everyone knows this would keep on repeating this by memory. Any little child in school, who had attended a Dhamma school, knows this. Then, if it is so, we must now look for what this path with 8 elements is. What does Samadhi mean? It is right seeing. That is what we have heard. Samma means right. Pali word is right. Sinhala word is right. Ditti means seeing. Therefore, right seeing. Some say it is correct seeing. That is what even we have learned. Even I learned the same during my school days. This is what we all know about it. This is what we often hear at Dhamma Dhyasana too. Nevertheless, if I ask the audience what is the meaning of virtuous seeing, what will they say? Each one will give a different answer, answers triggered based on their own concepts, expertise and experience. As such, I do not think a Buddha is crucial to disclose Dhamma like this. The Buddha had not said things like that. He had explicitly defined what Samadhi is, even though, unfortunately, we do not get to hear these precise meanings nowadays. Let us hear it today. What did the Buddha say about Samadhi? It is Dukkha, Dukkha Samudaya, Dukkha Nirodha, and Dukkha Nirodhagamani Patipadaya. What does it mean by Samadhi? First, is Dukkha, the knowledge and understanding about dukkha. The next one is Dukkha Samudaya, the cause of dukkha, the knowledge gained about it, the preliminary knowledge acquired about it. Next item is Dukkha Nirodha, the knowledge regarding ending of dukkha. Dukkha Nirodhagamani Patipadaya, the knowledge about the path to eliminate dukkha is the next. Now, those who have listened to this Dhamma discussion should not be saying, Samadhi is right seeing. We cannot explain Samadhi any way we wanted to. The Buddha had said Samadhi is Dukkha, Dukkha Samudaya, Dukkha Nirodha, and Dukkha Nirodhagamani Patipadaya. What had he been saying? Over again, to the Caturarya Sathaya. Dukkha, what we discussed earlier, the heap of dukkha described, beginning with Jathipi dukkha, and Sankhithina Panchchapadanaskana dukkha, the one mentioned at the end, the bundle of dukkha explained as Dukkha Arya Sathaya is called Dukkha. This we hear only from a Sammā Sambuddha. First, the Buddha gains this knowledge by himself, as he is a Sammā Sambuddha. A Paseka Buddha also gains this knowledge alone. None lower than them could understand it alone. Need to learn about it by listening to a Dhamma discourse by a Sammā Sambuddha. First, we learn about dukkha from Sadhaham. After learning the significance, we learn about Sankhithina Panchchapadanaskana by listening to a Buddha. That is what we do. This understanding by listening is called Sutamayapana. Thus, Dukkha Dukkha Arya Sathaya is that. Then we hear from Dhamma, by listening to Sadhaham, that the cause of dukkha is tanha. That is what the Buddha had pronounced as Dukkha Samudaya. Next is removal of dukkha, Nibbāna. Nirodha Sathaya. Next is the way or the path to remove the dukkha. It is again Arya Ashtangika Maga. Dukkha Nirodhagamani Patipada Sathaya. Now we are very clear that Samadhi is Caturarya Sathaya. It is the knowledge about the Four Noble Truths that we call Samadhi. Therefore, from here onward we cannot say and must not say after listening to the Dhamma that Samadhi is right seeing, good seeing, virtuous seeing, or correct seeing. Do not say it again. It is wrong to say it, distortion of the Buddha Dhamma, it would amount to nullifying of the teaching, and it is a grave papa karma. Please, everyone, do not shoulder this. From now on, the meaning of Samadhi is nothing but the knowledge of the Four Noble Truths. We do not have this. Our people are going through a lot of dukkha because they do not have Samadhi. If people had an understanding about this, we do not have to look for the Buddha Dhamma. It is distorted today. Today we do many contradictory unproductive things because of lack of knowledge about Samadhi. If we know that there is dukkha and its cause is tanha, do we have to do anything different to get rid of the dukkha? Falling ill is found within this dukkha, called it vyadapi dukkha. In general, we must face this dukkha. What is born wears off, ends up in death, experiences the departure of loved ones, gets to associate with unwelcomed ones, receives unwanted, not get what we want, etc. are common to all of us. Do we have to feel miserable about them if we have heard about this as the dukkha? No. Then this is the reality of this world. Then, if someone wants to free dukkha, if he knows it as dukkha, knows what we have to do. The Buddha had disclosed to us that the cause of dukkha is tanha. Just like dukkha, we can find its cause also within us. Tanha exists in this about a fathom-long body, within this kaya. Therefore, to get rid of dukkha, what we need to do is to get rid of tanha. Is that what we have been doing up to now? What do we do when we fall ill? What do we do when our child needs to pass an exam? When sick must consult a doctor, we must do it. I am getting ready to discuss a different matter. Actually, they are not only doing that. If we inquire into what they do, we will get to see what they really do. Yes, they take the sick child to the closest doctor or the hospital. Leaving the child there, they will go to the nearest bo tree. That is where the problem remains. That was what I was going to say. Some others will visit a Hindu god and offer compliments. Many things come to mind. Let us chant a pirith, tie a thread with a bailout bond, make offerings to Sai Baba, sing some bhajans, etc. These things are really happening today in this country. Then, what do the people do when sick or want to get through an exam? Quickly, they would separate any kind of these compliments, making a vow with a god, pouring some milk to a bo tree, they would give offering, pay tribute and various things like that. Mostly, people think of gods and the Buddha only when things go wrong. The Buddha had told us that things do not go wrong every day. Also, he had said that things do not always bring pleasure either. The Buddha had educated us about a thing called Ashta Loka Dhamma. 8 effects: gains, losses, insult, praise, respect, disrespect, and happiness dukkha. So it is not always dukkha. There is happiness too. There are losses as well as gains. These Dhammas arise and fade away repeatedly. We must face all these Dhammas. These are the Ashtaloka Dhamma. These are all common Dhammas, and Buddhists must know about these. These Ashtaloka Dhamma are the pronouncements of the Buddha. The truth about dukkha, today, many do not even like to discuss this dukkha sathaya. Instead, escaping the dukkha, they have gripped onto things like positive thinking, how they can end dukkha this way. They say that the Buddha did not talk about dukkha. That is true. The Buddhas appear not to talk about dukkha, but to disclose the supreme happiness. When we tread toward the supreme happiness, he had held what is dukkha as dukkha. The Buddhas held joyful ones as joyful too. Unfortunate, today what he had described as dukkha sathaya, itself, has reached the point of interpretation as pleasurable. This is the prime case for our disaster. Buddhists are living as Buddhist only by tag, do not know the dhisana sufficiently. That is why I say, if most of the people had Samadhi, they would not do various futile things, they would not be doing different things, things that are external to the dhisana, a range of rituals, offerings, and sacrifices which are unproductive. A true Buddhist must possess Samadhi. People who do not have Samadhi, wearing the label of a Buddhist, are the ones who go after things that I described previously. In the past, I have been one like that too. When I was a little child, my mother took me to the temple and performed those rituals. Then she said at the end, "Son, you are also a Buddhist, we are all Buddhists." Therefore, my mother put the label on me calling that I was a Buddhist. That is where we were. That is all what we had. Forthrightly, a Buddhist is the apparent quality of a Buddhist is the presence of Samadhi. They do things discussed earlier because of lack of Samadhi. If Samadhi was known, no Dukkha Sathaya, in consequence, he knows the reason for it, that the cause of Dukkha is Tanha. Dukkha will disappear only if Tanha is forced out. Recognizing this, what should we do? Must follow the path and practices that ends Tanha. Had the Buddha ever said that the cause of Dukkha is Bo tree? No, he had not. Therefore, if we go to a Bo tree looking for happiness or removal of Dukkha, does it amount to Samadhi? No. Understand this clearly. The things that I have to talk about may hurt some. Cannot help. I am not saying these things to hurt anyone or with any other negative intention. Not to praise or elevate anyone either. These things are merely discussed for you to find out what the Buddha had said. Thus, if the cause of Dukkha is Tanha, what is needed is removing Tanha. The Buddha had disclosed this in Caturarya Satyaya Dhisana, that we will not be free from Dukkha, as I have already discussed, if we go to Bo tree seeking help, conduct spiritual mystiques, make vows with gods, offer compliments, pay devotions and tributes to deities, wear threads around wrists, or by doing any similar acts contradictory to Dhisana instead. Are you all clear about what had been said? Therefore, we must have Samadhi. Most distinguishing quality to be a Buddhist is the possession of Samadhi. The reason being that Samadhi is found only in the Dhisana of the Buddha and not found in any other religion. Because all four elements, Dukkha, cause of Dukkha, ending of Dukkha and the path to end the Dukkha are present there where Samadhi is. This is a complete Dhisana in all aspects. Reason for Dukkha is Tanha. Removal of Tanha is Nibbāna, where freeing from Dukkha happens. Have declared that the practice the Noble Eightfold Path is required to accomplish this task. None of the other religions has this. What is the reason for it? Everyone experienced Dukkha, but others cannot state the cause of it as Tanha. Most other religions believe that there is an almighty God, a creator. Thinking that way conducting devotion, prayer, and submission people engage themselves in certain rites and rituals. These things do not fall within the Buddha's Dhisana. Hence, none of them falls within Samadhi. However, a Buddhist is defined as one who possesses Samadhi. Therefore, what should we be doing? Know Dukkha, and then get rid of Dukkha. The cause of Dukkha is Tanha. We must put all our efforts together to get rid of it. We should have the Chaitanya to practice the Noble Eightfold Path and free ourselves from Dukkha. That is the Samadhi. Therefore, must have Samadhi. The person who has Samadhi will not stop there. He will continue to the next step. The next step is Samma Sankappa. What is Samma Sankappa? We will say again, good thoughts or right thoughts. Cannot blame, that is what was heard. Cannot say that the Buddha had explained what Samma Sankappa is. We have seen that Dukkha is explained as Dukkha Sathaya, through Samadhi that we have. We know the Dukkha and its cause as Tanha. We are now going to eliminate Tanha. We must destroy it to be free of Dukkha. If we understood Dukkha, we need to do what to be free from Dukkha. If the cause of Dukkha is Tanha, must get rid of Tanha. What is Tanha? What do us all do, when we say that we are living, see objects by the eye, enjoy them, get entangled with what we like, and clash with what we do not like? Listen to sounds with the ears, get attracted to the pleasing ones, and have frictions with displeasing ones. Smell with nose, are attached to good ones, and have frictions with bad ones. It is same with tastes for the tongue. Get attached to what is pleasing, and have frictions with undesirable one. Feelings for the body are the same, are attached to comfortable ones, and clash with uncomfortable sensations. Thought impulses to the mind are the same. Get attached to desirable thoughts. Have frictions with undesirable thoughts. Have intentions through sensual faculties. Doors. Become attached to ones it likes. Have frictions with ones it does not like. Living means being attached and having frictions. The cheat is in these two extremes, being attached and having frictions. Keep chasing after what one likes. That is the reason for traveling around the country. Go on enjoyable trips. Go on pilgrimages, for worshipping holy places. We can find the truth if we look deep into these things. Are they really going on pilgrimages? Or else, doing something else? Even by going there, what they did was enjoying going around the country, around the world, seeing various things. They please their inner desires. They please the eye. They please the ear. They please the nose. They please the tongue. This is what is called living. This we call karma. Therefore, this is what we have been doing. The ordinary people in the country and the world are in these sankappa. Thoughts are always about how to please my eye, my ear. Actually, do not think like that. Think having enjoyment. Enjoyment means pleasing the sense faculties. Living means pleasing the sense faculties. This undertaking of pleasing the sense faculties is the chaitanya. What sankappa are these? They are karma sankappa. People are always engaged in karma sankappa. Always the cheat has in karma vithaka. Therefore, the dukkha arises because of tanha that we have for these. If we want freedom from dukkha, if what we have is karma tanha, we establish within us as people treading on Nibbāna Maga, as the Savaka of the Buddha, we must decide to free ourselves from them. That is called nekkhamma sankappa. Therefore, where it is said, Samma Sankappa, the correct answer is not right. Sankalpana does not have the story of right or proper at all there. What is Samma Sankappa? The primary one is nekkhamma sankalpana. What we have is karma sankappa. We decided to escape from that. Developing nekkhamma sankalpana, we escape from karma by abandoning it. Now, we let go this. What we have done up to now is just the opposite. Embedded in karma sankalpana, we kept on chasing after materials necessary for pleasing the indriyas, producing them, hoarding them, increasing them. That is what we have done. What does it mean by employments, farming, and doing business? All are form of methods to please indriyas, methods to acquire assets of karma. Now these assets of karma are limited. We cannot find them the way we wanted. We have to put extra efforts. We acquire, collect, hoard them after a considerable struggle. Then, when we try to do these, invariably certain things happen. What are they? They are the two things that invariably occur with karma, vyapada, and vyansa. What are the primary reasons for miserable tragedies in the world? Hostilities, racial frictions, color rivalries, problems in and outside the house due to internal family disunity, and world wars. Karma sankalpana. Then, as these ideas are increasingly reinforced, vyapada and vyansa emerges invariably. Therefore, when we decide to develop nekkhamma sankalpana with the thought of finding a relief from karma, invariably two things happen. What are they? Vyapada and vyansa will disappear from our minds, invariably displaced by avyapada and avihimsa. We will give rise to avyapada and avihimsa sankalpana. Therefore, we know that vyansa is there because of karma. When we decide to escape from karma, the thought that we will escape from vyansa also will automatically arise. Do we understand now? Are you clear about this? Now, we must put into practice these. These would not produce any good results by just recitation. One who has samadhi also invariably has samma sankappa. Fundamentally, a Buddhist has samadhi. Therefore, Essentially he must also have Samma Sankappa. Essentially, as the second rule, a Buddhist must essentially dwell with the Chaitanya to get rid of karma. If it is so, what should he do? Must do the activities needed for achieving it. What is the foremost action needed for detachment from karma? What is the primary act? Where does it start? It begins in dana, letting go. Up to now, what we have been doing were collecting, safeguarding, and hoarding. Now we do things right opposite of them. Now, we give away, donate, and let go. If the cause for this dukkha is clinging, tanha, and hoarding, we must develop skills to practice abandonment in order to be detached from dukkha. We must train. Then, a Buddhist is one who lives with extended hands to give things away. That is essential. We had many people like that in our long past. Now we are proud to talk about our distant glorious past. We cannot get back to that glorious history just by talking about it. We need to put into action what those people had practiced, if we wanted to get there. In those periods, our people had better Buddhist societies. They had Samma Sankappa. They did not get stunned or bewildered by seeing dukkha. They knew dukkha as a part and parcel of life. Our grandma clearly said that anicca and dukkha and samsara. Today, it is not there even to hear. No. Now everything is permanent, joyful, and with Atma. Is not that what is there? People in the past were well rooted with anicca and dukkha, therefore they did not grasp onto things tightly. They lead a simple life without hoarding unnecessarily with good contentment. It is not there today. Today, there are no extended arms to give away things. Today people are looking at others' wallets, very determined to make money, for acquiring more materialistic things, ill at ease. The Chaitanya are spinning around how to get a bigger portion of the pie, grow bigger, and acquire more recognition. We are in the lot who are gathering profit, honor, and reward recognition. That is why this society has gone down this much. What is the reason? There is no nekkhamma sankalpana. There is no detachment. That means there is no generosity. Do not like to give away. Those days when I was growing up as a child, I have drunk water from a pinnacle, a big covered clay pot holding cool drinking water maintained by community. Water was given free of charge. There was enough water to drink. Then, later on, what did this so-called developed society do as they were making headway? They removed the pinnacle, erected modern taps with the blessing of our elders at every junction by the municipality or by provincial council. As time passed by, they have disappeared. Now we drink water by paying money. That is what has happened. In recent past, we had free lodging at Amvalama, free lodging and resting at every village. Instead today, calling by such names as rest houses, or guest houses, various types of lodging places and resting places have evolved, charging a fee. Those days, when trees start bearing fruits, when the jack trees are full of fruits, we have seen our elders pick them, cut into little pieces, and feed cattle. Sometimes, they cleaned and cooked their jackfruit and fed dogs and cattle to their satisfaction. Dog crowed anus were very common. Our people gave various dana. They were fond of giving dana. Now we do not get to hear about these activities. Therefore, we do not give away anything today. Because of that, people's cheat have become crude today. We have lost the touch of those good habits, hearts have lost the softness, and we have become some sort of machines, with the hoarding concepts dominating in our minds. What has happened because of that? A big fear has developed among people. People live with a huge fear now. Unlike olden days, those days in a town known as Visala, there had been three major fears: fear by non-humans, fear by plagues, and fear by famine. Now it is not the same in Sri Lanka. Even with the experience of tsunami disaster, Sri Lanka by no means had to experience any of them. Thinking about today's society of the world, now the people in this country are suffering from a fear bigger than these three fears. What is this fear? That fear is human fear. What is the reason for human fear? People do not give any more. When the society is consisting of many people with stretched out opened hands, with generosity, benevolence, and goodwill, there is no fear. They look at the people in the society with much compassion. They had kindness and metta towards even the animals, quadruped, insects, and ants. What is the reason for this? Because, did not have, Vyapada and Vyansa with Nekkhamma Sankappa essentially. What is present, as the two components of Karuna and Metta, are Avyapada and Avihimsa. Now what is present is karma as Karuna and Metta are absent. What is present is karma sankalpana, not Nekkhamma sankalpana. Because of that, people are very hurtful. People think about one thing, talk about different thing, and do something entirely different from what they thought and talked. People cannot trust anybody because of that. Therefore, it has built a society living in fear with one another. This is what had happened to us. This is the reason for our decline in a country. Why did this decline occur? This would have not happened, if there were Buddhists present in this country of more than 70% of population Buddhists. This is the reason for the decline. Then, we do not have the Samma Sankappa. If we are Buddhist, we must develop these Sankalpana in the future. What are these Sankalpana? They are Nekkhamma Sankalpana, Avyapada Sankalpana, and Avihimsa Sankalpana. We must develop the habit to give alms. People have become selfish. Not only we have lost Ambalama and Pinthalia, we have become a society who does not want to practice our good habit of generosity. If we question some people whether they are giving dana, most of the people would say, yes, we do give dana. If we inquire from them how they do it, they would say, we go to the temple and give dana. Once a month give dana to the monk at the nearby temple. The most criticized group in this country is the Society of Bhikkhus. After criticizing the monks at that temple for 29 days of the month, one day they go to the temple and give some dana. Why are they doing this? They cannot do away with this. They do it because they are doubtful whether the monks would be angry and would not attend to the last rites at what every one of us has to face one day. We call it in general some kind of a dead body worship. Now it has become a tradition. They are giving the monks dana because they want to have monks at the last rites. Pansakula, thinking that they would be angry if dana not given, and would not come and conduct the Pansakula. Then, there is no dana here. There is no giving away here. Here they are not doing a giving away, but an investment. They give dana to the monks to have them at the last rites, Pansakula, because of fear that they would get angry if not given and would not attend. Then, is Nekkhamma Chaitanya present here? The Chaitanya to give dana, are the two components, Karuna and Maitri present. Are they giving alms to the monks feeling compassion and kindness toward them, with the thoughts that the monks depends on them for foods and essentials, which allow them to practice Dhamma without encumbrances with the thought of taking care of the monks, for their health and happiness? No. A different transaction happens here. Is not that right? That is what we do most of the time. For what else do we give alms? At least the mother or the father has to be dead. Thus, is this the only excuse for us to give dana, the death of parents? This is the problem that we have, the mother or father has to pass away. Then, we have to conduct dana on the 7th day and 3moth day and transfer merits to them. Wonderful thing, our parents had not done any pina or dhamma to acquire merits by themselves. It is the children, who have to conduct these to transfer merits to our beloved dead. We are also carrying the same Chaitanya now. After our deaths, our children would transfer merits to us. No one do any meritorious acts now. That is what we see these days. Even what we do as giving dana, are sadly not done as a giving away, as a dana. When we look at things they give, we can mostly read even in a pillowcase some writing, donated by children for gaining merits for such and such departed person. Is that not a business advertisement? It is an advertisement. I have heard that Jesus had talked about dana. He had advised, do not to let the right hand know about what you have given with the left hand. What a beautiful proclamation. That is it, dana giving is giving away, give earn, let go. We do not need to publicize or advertise it. Names are printed on even the pillowcase, tube light, bed, chair, table, and even on the plate that they give. This is a business advertisement. Then some others place notices in many pages of newspapers, sounding tom-toms, broadcasting phrases of merit over loudspeakers, and give alms. If we carefully examine them, we will understand what they have done. This was an act to puff up fully the own duplicity, but not an act of giving with Nekkhamma Chaitanya with kindness compassion as primary purpose, not done in actual alms giving. Therefore, this is not a Buddhist alms giving. How do we give dana as Buddhists or as the ones who have Samadhi? With Nekkhamma Chaitanya, with the objective of freeing one's tanha. However, we will not be able to realize total Nibbāna just by giving dana by itself. Dana as our first act must be given, with the citta for getting rid of lobha. If not, we should give dana thinking from the other side, with the Chaitanya, the recipient will gain happiness and good health after consumption of this. What are present there are the two components, karuna and maitri. A Buddhist must give dana with Nekkhamma Chaitanya and with what were mentioned, karuna maitri as objectives, but not expecting profits, rewards, recognition, or thanks. We are not accustomed to it now. Today everything has become a business, a competitive one, and our citta have become blemished deep and deeper as a result. Citta have become horrible smelling oozing abscesses. It is because of that, we cannot tolerate a good life enjoyed by our neighbors, cannot watch the neighbor doing well. The Christ had said this. Again, I have to say this. The Noble One had seen this well. What had the Noble One said? Love thy neighbor. Did you see? Why cannot we extend love toward our neighbors? It is like thorns pricking someone's eye to see his neighbor doing well. If we can do this to our neighbor, we would be able to do this for the entire world. Question: Now, Venerable Sir, most of the time when we give dana, we expect deva human pleasure, even when we expect the pleasure of free from dukkha disease. Are we not developing tanha here instead of letting go? Answer: You are correct, expecting to enjoy deva human happiness. In it, there is attachment, giving away something small. Now give away a rupee to a beggar, wishing for something, a birth in heaven, or else heavenly happiness. If heaven can be reached with a rupee, heaven cannot be such a great place. I do not think that we could enjoy heavenly pleasure with such a small amount, by giving a small amount of money or a little food. Therefore, I think there is no necessity to make any wishes. Now everything is a wish. We do not have to expect anything. There is result in what is given. There is merit, effectiveness in it. Some say that wishes must be made. Now see, an animal, we kill a mosquito. Do we make wish after killing? No. Do not make wish that I be born in misery, because of the killing of the mosquito. Do we make any wish? No. Do not make a wish after doing papa to be born in hell. Nevertheless, just because no wish was made, will he not go to hell? If the result of that karma is to be born in hell, definitely he will get it. There is nothing to wish. Therefore, if we do papa, birth would be in hell. If we do pina, we do not have to make wishes repeatedly, we would get to heaven. However, if we make a wish to be born in heaven, we are creating a tanha citta. In it, we let go a small thing expecting in return a big pleasure. The other thing, these heavens are belonging to dukkha, they are part of Lōkaya. These heavens comparatively, may have less dukkha than human world. However, they are anicca. Dukkha is present there too. It also is anatta. Then, what it means by wishing is, wishing for dukkha while also living in dukkha. Therefore, it is okay not to make any wishes. The purpose of giving is to get rid of dukkha. For getting rid of tanha, there is no necessity to produce tanha again expecting something else. Question: Then, what about what we do when someone is dead? At that occasion, we say that we are transferring merits after offering alms. What is it? Answer: Yes, we do a thing like that. We do them in line with our culture. Then, that is good. I am not saying that it is a bad thing to do. As a gratitude for our elders, our relatives, we should do this. This is one of our duties. Call attention to do it like that in sutta such as Sinhala Sutta. The Buddha had seen the effects himself and then had advised us to do these acts. However, the problem rests here. First, we must do meritorious acts first and see if there are any merits in those deeds. Now, when the mother had passed away, the family gets together and in her name, tries to puff up their names. If we look at these deeds carefully, do we not get to see this? Is it not true? Then, Chaitanya is there? What becomes Pada or Pina there? Chaitanya. The result of almsgiving is in the Dana Chaitanya. The Buddha had said, Chaitanya Bhikhokaman Wadami. Chaitanya is important. What is happening to most of us is, do not have the said Chaitanya. Most people do not have Dana Chaitanya. Some people do not even sight where the parents live while they are alive. Do not look after them well. Without doing their duties, after they are diseased, by giving a big Dana having publicized well, they intend to cover up their dirt, and attempt to fix the misdeeds they have done. Then, think a little and ponder whether there is a Pina there. This is the reason why I advise anyone to do meritorious deeds, and give Dana, prior to doing anything else. The Buddha had clearly explained how to give Dana the correct way, the way it becomes a Pina. What is it? Give away with the idea of getting rid of Dana with Karuna Maitri as primary components. Look, there. Is the Chaitanya corrupted there? We did not give away to announce to the world but to get rid of Lobachita. We do them with pure compassion and sympathy. We do not have to look at the greatness of the meritorious act, and this is our duty. To provide some food for a needy one is a duty of a person who is all, essentially we must do it. However, do not give hereafter like the way we have been doing, talking ill of the temple. Go and give food to the temple, give Dana. Do not give the way you have been doing previously. Do not give Dana hereafter, with the Chaitanya to get the monk to attend the Pansakula, with the Chaitanya to be a friend of the monk, or give with the Chaitanya because that we cannot afford make the monk angry. Provide them with foods as our duty and responsibility, developing the thought, this is what signifies us as Buddhists. These are the people what we call Buddhists. People who are treading on the Noble Eightfold Path. A group, a bunch, who has made the Nibbāna as the goal. Then, give away with the Chaitanya of Dana as one element of the activities fulfilled on the path by a group who have made Nibbāna as the goal. Then, all those explained matters would happen. Then, do not have to do any additional Pina. The mother and father will acquire merits automatically. Why? Because they would see that they have produced fine citizens as a Pina that they have performed. They will begin to realize it. I did not mean by that not to do Pina, not to give Dana. We must give Dana. Following the way the Buddha had advised, with arms extended to give away. Give away the correct way, do it right. That is what I am trying to show you all. Then, do not give Dana to deceive you. Then, food should be given to those who are hungry. Clothing should be given to those who need, who can use. It does not make any sense in giving them to an animal. Animals do not wear cloth. Providing a poor student with useful school materials, textbooks, pens, pencils, and school uniforms etc., taking care of old people, providing medication and nursing care to ailing people, are excellent acts of Dana. Then, we could visit families who have met with tragedy recently, and make them feel comfortable to reduce their pain and fear at least a little, by saying, please do not get upset, or be frightened. We are there, we will take care of your needs, and we are with you. This is what is called Abhaya Dana. There are a lot we could do similar to these. Help a poor student to practice his lessons without expecting any money. This is not tutoring. Teach a skill or an investment that you know. We could provide someone with advice or guidance, where necessary. We need not think about a good situation or not. We should train ourselves to be able to tell that it is wrong, if we see it. Today, we are not used to that. We are waiting for someone to fall into trouble to laugh at it, or to have some humor. Advice is not given to an ill-educated person. We do not give a person who has no basic essentials. We are making humor over someone's poorness. Then, is this what is meant by a Buddhist? We must come out of this falsehood. Then, it is not good to deceive ourselves. The nonsense that we bear must disappear. When we work hard to reduce our tanha, increasing our compassion and kindness for others as primary components, purity within our own hearts will develop. Dearth of these factors is the reason for our bad conduct, and jealousy over the good fortune of our neighbor. What we have done next, that means, what do we do having impure chitta intact? Instead of giving food to someone who needs it, We offer food to some statue thinking it is the Buddha. 2,549 years have passed. We all know very well about it by now. What do we do then, knowingly quite well about it? We place some food in front of a statue and say that we have paid respect to the Buddha. Cheating whom? Are they trying to cheat the Buddha? Will the Buddha be tricked? Where does the Buddha live? Is he living in that statue? Is he in that chaitya? Is he on a bo tree? Is he in Tipitaka? No. Where does the Buddha reside? Where does the Dhamma found? Where does the Sangha reside? It is very clear. The Buddha had enlightened us of the location, where the Dhamma is, the whole Dhamma is, the whole world is, the cause for the world is, ending of the world is, and the way to end the world is. Where do we find the Four Noble Truths that I mentioned here? We find it within about fathom long our own bodies. Now cheating ourselves, we go to worship a Buddha living outside. There is no Buddha outside. The Buddhahood, the Buddha live inside each one of us, in our own hearts. We all have an Arahant living within ourselves. What is necessary is to do things to bring out that Arahant within you. What is required for achieving it is found within the Caturarya Sathiyaya Dhisana. If Caturarya Sathiyaya is located within us, what we have to do is doing that work ourselves. We are doing something different and contradictory to that, a different act. Question: now, Venerable Sir, what is the reason for erecting statues? What is in it? What is in it? Answer: yes, this is a Dhamma older than over 2,500 years. Various things added, for various reasons, by various individuals, with different motives, in different times, transferring the dhisana from the line of descent from trainer to disciple, with the influence of various religions, various rituals, various offerings and worships, and cultural habits have entered the practice. The original pristine Dhamma declared by the Buddha is not seen in the prevailing system. It is not necessary to continue on dwelling in it, because it had happened that way. Let me show you what is bad in making offerings to a statue. What I want to show you is what the best way is, and the way dana should be given as a real Buddhist. We all remember once the Buddha saw a badly suffering monk with an oozing skin disease. Even the robe stuck to his skin, in one of his tours around monasteries. At that time, with the help of Venerable Ananda, boiled some water, sponged him and cleaned him up, washed the robes, and eventually, what did he do? He cured him of that illness, and after that gave a Dhammadhisana. After that, the Buddha called Venerable Ananda and told him, Ananda, anyone who takes care of ailing ones this way the way I have advised, it would amount to taking care of the Buddha himself. Then, when we offer some food to one who is in hunger, it is like giving a dana to the Buddha. Then, helping someone who needs help in desperate is like helping the Buddha. Many occasions, the Buddha had advised then, Ananda and other monks, if anyone abides by my Dhamma, abides by my guidance, he is the one strictly worships me the correct way. Then we must give dana. The key answer to the question about statues from me is, instead of offering food to effigies and cheating selves, better to give them to one who is hungry. It becomes an offering to the Buddha. That is the main thing that had to be said. Then, we do another thing. Yes, instead of attending to basic things, we do other things. We now go and offer food to Buddha. Feeding a nearby animal, a cat, a dog, squirrels, or a domestic fowl also is a dana, if it is given with dana chaitanya. They all also depend and sustained by food. Now we are doing other things without doing those. We place food front of an image and imagine that it was offered to the Buddha. This is cheating us. This is fraud. Then we try to experience Nibbāna straight, to do big undertakings, Maitri Bhavana. Maitri Bhavana is a very good thing. We must do it. That is a different story. However, what do we do as Maitri Bhavana? Think about that a little. Assume that a very hungry someone who is harmless and helpless shows up here in front of us, and asks for food. If we offer some food, hunger is a major dukkha to a person or to an animal. Had we given some food to that person or an animal, the dukkha called hunger would disappear. That dukkha quenches. We do not make enough efforts to do that. Instead, we chant mornings and evenings, may all beings be free of dukkha, be free of sicknesses. May all beings be healthy. Does this have any effect on those beings? Would they become free of those dukkha? Would they become free of sickness? Would they become healthy? If so, the Buddha would have done it at that time, could have made all of us healthy that day. It does not happen that way. However, if we had fed a hungry person, he would have become healthy because of it. Then this Maitri is really a primary, a practical activity, which is happening within this Dana act. That is why we said that as we act with Nekkhamma Sankalpana, it gives rise instinctively to the two Sankalpana, Avyapada, and Avihimsa. Please remember well, I talked in length, for us to get out of delusions that we are in and become a real Buddhists. I have to talk a lot because of that. Have to talk a lot about many things. From now onward, when we say Samma Sankappa, should know, should remember, what Samma Sankappa means. It means Nekkhamma Sankalpana, Avyapada Sankalpana, and Avihimsa Sankalpana. Are you clear about it? Do you have any problems anywhere in them? Do you have any frictions with them? Please keep this in mind, there is a huge difference in what people really do today and what you heard here in our discussions. Do not get into any quarrels. Do not accept them just because that you heard them from me either. Individually, each one has a brain and the intelligence. Think a little about them. The Buddha is the most eminent person this world ever had, foremost in thinking and wisdom. Cannot think a person of such caliber will haphazardly proclaim meaningless, various mystics that we come across today. That is what I was going to say. We must do whatever we do in the correct way, only after carefully sorting them out intelligently. We must live within certain principles. Just wearing a Buddhist tag and continuing with what others do will not be of any help at all. Are you clear about what I said? This is the Samadhi. Next is Samma Sankappa, the person who made resolution to be released from these karma and does things driven by mainly Avyapada and Avihimsa is the Buddha's disciple, the Savaka, and he is the one that will go to the next step. What is the next step? Begin doing what you have heard with practicality. It starts with Dana. And there we find those Sankalpana, Samma Sankappa. Then, that is from where we start. The Buddha had always taken Dana as the first one. Look into anything for this. Look into three types of Punya acts, Dana, Sila, Bhavana. They start with Dana. Look at 10 perfections. The first one is Dana. Then, take Dasa Raja Dhamma, and see in there even the first one is Dana. Look at Sattva Sangraha. Verse 2, Dana, pleasing words, meaningful behavior, and equality. Even in there, the first one is Dana. What is called Dana? This giving away is worth so much. Remember well, Dana is not limited to giving some food to someone. We can give anything away. There are two of them as principal ones, Amisa Dana and Dhamma Dana. Let us discuss Dhamma Dana in detail later on. This amount is ample for the time being. Everything starts with Dana. The Dana has a broad meaning. Today many people jump ahead to Sila without doing any Dana. Another lot is trying to do Bhavana at once, dropping even the Sila. This is where they have made the mistake. There is a successive order in there. There is a sequential procedure. We must practice within these procedures. We must move forward, sticking to this order. If not, we will end up as a group of people gone astray. Therefore, one who wants relinquishment of all assets, destruction of tanha, detachment, cessation, and extinction of all dukkha must first develop samadhi, then need to have samma sankappa. Only that person who has these, samadhi and samma sankappa, is capable of moving on to the next element and beyond. In the Noble Eightfold Path, samavacca, samma kamantha, and samajiva needed to be practiced together as a parallel approach. What are these three? These three belong to sila. Then what is sila? Sanwara. Over what do we need to have sanwara? Two things called body and word. People in this world who have karma sankalpana and delight on karma live always uncontrolled, act without control. When they try to satisfy karma, essentially their affairs are uncontrolled. Get to do uncontrolled acts. They do asamvara acts by body and word. Our body is in asamvara due to three reasons. That means killing, destroying other lives, then taking things not given. Next is indulgent sex with women or men not married to him or her. They are the three things. Taking things not given is not only stealing, it includes various acts such as pillage, not returning something borrowed, promising to return, taking bribes, then illegal commission, and to a large extent, not doing 8 hours of good work as an employee when paid for 8 hours. Why? That is a break of employment agreements. There are agreements between the employer and the employee. The agreements signed agreeing to work so many hours per day, so many days per month to get a certain amount of payment. When those agreements are broken, taking a salary that he is not eligible to. These kinds of things have got deep-rooted into our society in our country now. Perhaps people have done these things not knowing that they are papa, not knowing that they are exterior to Buddhist practice. These are wrong activities. These are irresponsible activities. These were done not knowing that they are unsuitable activities for Buddhists. I am trying to stress these points, anticipating you all to be free of these acts in the future. Now most of the people do not know taking bribes, accepting commissions, spending time dilly-dally in office and accepting a salary at the end are all thefts. What was not given was taken because of unawareness. However, keep in mind, the results are the same whether the acts were done knowing or not knowing that they are papa. The consequences will not miss. Will receive the related consequences. Then, this asamvara, the body is in asamvara because of killing or destroying other lives, taking what is not given, and engage in illicit sex or having sex with other spouses. Next, the word is not in control because of 4 reasons. What are they? They are telling lies, malicious speech, parushavakana or coarse words, and frivolous talk. Telling lies, or deny after doing something. Take credit for things not done. That is falsehood. Next is malicious speech. Malicious speech is a very dangerous act. Similar to falsehood, it is what set our society on fire. People gossip against each other expecting certain benefits and honor. Because of it, a bizarre destruction is occurring in this country. This is big unrestrained situation, a big papa. Next, coarse words. Whatever said to disturb calmness in a person is parushavakana. In addition to harsh words used by ordinary people, sometimes, charming words could be uttered disguising the appearance of coarseness. Using very attractive words, one could say parushavakana. These happen in workplaces a lot, by gesture and body, is not it so? By meaning, by sharpened words could be used in daily speech. They all fall into coarse words. Then, our next uncontrolled word is gossip. Gossip to a huge degree wastes the time. It causes a big damage to the society. These are the 4 papa committed by the word. What did the Buddha mean by samavacca? To refrain from committing what had been explained is these 4 papas by word. I did not ask the meaning of samavacca from you all, because I knew the answer that you would give. You would say it is right speech. It does not work. How does it become a right word? If refrained from those 4 papas done with the words, his word is in control. If refrained from those 4, telling lies, malicious speech, parushavakana, and frivolous talk, the remaining words that we use are samavacha. They are all correct words. However, when we practice this, definitely, we will run out of a thing to talk. That will happen. However, people would not like it. What exists in this country is a society that has got used to babble like parrots. For some reason, there exist naughty words. Some people, I have noticed, obviously knowing that a person is having a bath, he still goes ahead and asks whether he is bathing. I have seen this, in the society this is done to show the friendship and bonding. We cannot say that it is bad. This does not fit in here. What I was trying to say is that we should talk to our best as possible only that are essential. The person who is a Buddhist would not use words frivolously. If they are talking, they use good words, harmless words, civilized words, and worthy words. They should maintain silence, if it is not so, if there is nothing to say. However, it is not just being silent. The Buddha had used a word in Dhisana for it, called Aryathushnam. Pawaya. Animals and dumb people are also not saying anything because they cannot speak. Is that the silence explained by the Buddha? Is it Aryathushnam Pawaya? No. Arya Thushnam Pawaya means be in silence but mindfully and alert, without using wrong words. That is the Aryathushnam Pawaya. Then, if speaking, use good words or maintain Arya Thushnam Pawaya. It is not by just maintaining silence. The Buddhas and Arahants maintain silence not just for doing it. They are in noble and virtuous mindfulness, in focused mind in the present. Therefore, if refrained from these 4 verbal papas, it is samavacha. Samakamantha means, what I explained earlier, the 3 papa karma done by using the body, kaya, killing, stealing, and illicit sex. Kaya is in control when we are refrained from these 3. Then, we do another papa. The Buddha had advised us to refrain from it. What is it? Dishonest livelihood. Refraining from. This is samajiva. Samavacha, samakamantha, sama. Ajiva. Samajiva is refraining from dishonest livelihood. Then, what is dishonest livelihood? To say it simply, people are deceitful and insincere when making a living. Abstain from doing it. We must make a living virtuously, truthfully, and with sincerity. That person is called the one who possesses sila. Are you clear about this? Do not be confused here. We commonly hear that a Buddhist is one who observes 5 precepts. How do we observe 5 precepts? This is a big undertaking, no 2 words about it. If difficult to observe big sila, even observing those may be okay, that talk is correct. Anyway, keep in mind, the Buddhas do not appear to talk about 5 precepts. Some may be hurt by this, cannot help it. The truth must be told as truth. We cannot exceed the Dhamma of the Buddha. 5 precepts had been there in the world at the time there were no Buddhas. Even much higher sila had been there. We have heard and read in our books when we were in schools that the Gautama Buddha's mother, Queen Mahamaya, was observing pure sila at the time he was conceived. Then, they say Prince Siddhartha had conceived at an occasion like that. Then observing pures, a poser for sila is much higher than 5 precept. Then, the Buddhas appear in a society, which had such higher sila like that. Then, there is no samadhi without sila. Prince Siddhartha left the palace in search of Dhamma, to those ascetics, such as Alarakalama, Adakarama. They were not just ordinary ascetics. They were people who have improved their minds to the highest dhyana, 8 samapatti, such as Nirvana and Nibbāna. Those levels are difficult to achieve. They must possess higher sila, must have had control over their body and word. Therefore, there were these sila on earth before the Buddhas appeared. 5 precepts existed all the time in the world. They are found in many other religions too. Therefore, if someone says that the Buddha appeared to talk about 5 precepts, it is a meaningless statement. Anyway, we find a certain 5 precepts within the sila declared by the Buddha. That is a different story. Do not be confused. I have talked about 10 papa, 3 by body killing, stealing, and illicit sex, and 4 by word falsehood, slandering, harsh words, and frivolous talk, 7 of them there. Followed by them, there are 3 papas done by mind. They are strong greediness, anger, and faith in mystics. These are the 10 papa. Now, consumption of alcohol or intoxicants do not found within the 10 of them. Then, where samavacha, samakamantha, samajiva are talked about, also consumption of intoxicant not included. If we examined the 5 precepts, it includes the 3 bodily papas. What is there out of the 4 verbal papas? Only telling lies. Then, is it okay to engage in gossip, speak coarse words, and frivolous talk? In lieu of them, removing 3, had introduced intoxicants from somewhere. This does not mean that I am promoting alcoholism. What I want to show is that the Buddhas appear in a period when the society is in a chaotic mess. Do not know the truth. Do not know correctly what sila is. Do not know samadhi. Do not know panna. The Buddhas appear in a period when people are entangled in a chaotic mess, stranded, and marooned in this world. What do the Buddhas do? They correct that mess. Not 5 precepts, but an sila beyond that is present here. Because, where samavacha, samakamantha, samajiva is talked about, there exists 8 precepts. If wanted, would have added intoxicants, and increased it to 9, it was not done. There is a reason for it. I am not telling people that it is okay to get drunk. Consumption of intoxicants is a different story. In the Dhisana given to son of head of house Sinhala, the Buddha had said what? Had explained, killing, stealing, illicit sex, and harsh words as 4 karma kilesa, and had advised to refrain from them. However, intoxicants was not included in them. Society already had the 5, but the Buddha had excluded intoxicants. Are you clear about this? Our topic is the Noble Eightfold Path, but I included them for your awareness, to open your mind to think back, and be able to sort out Pristine Dhamma, what real Buddha Dhisana is. I could stick to the topic of discussion and cover it straight. I want to remove mystic masks from your chitta so you may get out of duality. Are you clear of my objective? That is the reason for me to keep talking about these. Therefore, remember, the Buddha talked only about those 4 to Sinhala, because they were the genuine sila. The Buddha assigned intoxicants to another place there, by talking about 6 additional affairs. Consumption of intoxicants, gambling, laziness, frequenting streets at inappropriate times, watching concerts and musicals, and having bad friends as doors for losing one's wealth and impairment. Then there is a reason for doing it that way. The Buddha had discussed 6 critical bad effects due to taking intoxicants in Sinhala Sutta. What kinds of wrongs does a person under the influence of intoxicants perform? First offense is he loses his wealth, essentially. Second one is he will involve himself in fights and other risks. Third one is he is vulnerable to ill health, could be an ill-healthy person. Fourthly, he will trounce 2 inherent good qualities, bashfulness, and fear for misconduct. Fifthly, his acceptance in society will disappear, not a good acceptance he would have, a bad one, he will be branded as a bad person. Sixthly, he will be a person vulnerable to tardiness, omission. Why? Because the cause for slip-up is the consumption of Intoxicants is. The Buddha had disclosed these as 6 adimava. Thus, the Buddha had not said there any time that the intoxicated one would be born in hell. Now, for that reason, do not try to drink more and more alcohols, saying, not going to naya, since one who is drunk could do not only one, but also all the things that take him to naya. A drunkard, once his senses are lost, would be capable of committing any bad crime mindlessly. There it is said he would become one who is not afraid of committing papa. Like that, he is not afraid of papa or pina. Is not he losing his mind? Then he becomes a sick person. Then, he could commit any crime after consumption of alcohols. However, consumption of intoxicant is not a papa. The way I understand it, we could find it in that Sinhala Sutta and other places. Though it had been stated that way, the Buddha had said exactly that whether drunk or not, if one commits those 10 papa karma, he will be born in hell, born in naya if those are committed. Likewise, if refrain from doing them, will be born in heaven. There is no question whether drunk or sober. I am saying these with the Chaitanya to clarify this for you. Why? I also was confused too, did a reasonable amount of research, investigation by reading many books and articles. We can accept, when we read the Sutta Pitaka, that the Buddha for these reasons had said it that way. Therefore, we should do these perceptively from now onward. As such, please do not get confused over this. Therefore, what we call sila there is, the sila of a Buddhist, lasting sila, not so-called pancha sila. What actually is sila of a Buddhist? Having control of body and word. The person who refrains from these 8 elements, 3 bodily papas, 4 verbal papas, and mitua jiva is called a Buddhist. Are you clear about what I have been saying? Question, now, Venerable Sir, does mitua jiva include rites and rituals, offerings etc.? Answer, no. Mitua jiva does not include mystic rites and rituals etc. Now here, there is no loss due to worship of trees and rocks. Then, no gain either. Anyone who can do it. That is not the issue here. Many people are trying to make a living by various types of deceitfulness, is it not true? I have not seen in our book, or any sutta. I have not learned the whole Tipitaka to that extent. However, in what I have seen and heard about, there are trades that we should not do, selling intoxicants, selling flesh, selling animals, selling poisons, selling women, and selling weaponries. I cannot remember whether it was in a sutta. Maybe it is there somewhere in the commentaries. If it is not in a sutta, I am not sure. Anyway, there is no problem with them. Nevertheless, if we take it plainly, Sadkavaitanga Sutta and Satipatthana Sutta clearly states that refraining from mitua jiva is samara jiva. That is how it is stated. Therefore, anything that people do to make money by deceit is correct deception. I do not know whether it is correct or not. Gimmick means deceit, all kinds of cheating people do to make a living. Our books have given many examples to explain it. Books are mentioning statements such as, there was sugarcane just like a snake. I am not going to get into them now. Then monks do various things such as, asking indirectly. Indirectly they make it known. In our usage, we have sayings such as, without asking to get out, serve some leaves. Stories like that have been fabricated. They all belong in mitua jiva. They are all deceitful dealings done to make a living. What is the reason? It hurts another person. Therefore, it cannot be a good thing. Thus, what I have been explaining so far, let us accept them in general. Then, the person who is in control of bodily actions and verbal actions is the virtuous person. He is the Buddhist. Therefore, do not say again, in future, we observe 5 precepts. We are Buddhists. Just by observing 5 precepts, cannot become a good Buddhist. Need to go beyond it. What is the reason? Sutta mentions, after attainment of Sovan, permanent sila, Arya Kanta sila, Pancha sila is mentioned there. However, they are permanent sila present after attainment of Sovan. The Buddha had said that they are sila permanently embodied. They cannot be observed alone without the rest. That means, outside the Noble Eightfold Path, it is a fruit gained by development of the Noble Eightfold Path. an instant, a step, a junction, sobanpala. Then, these precepts are automatically kept. That is a different story. However, it does not mean that it is the corridor to Nibbāna. To be free from dukkha, we must control our bodily and verbal deeds. Are you clear about what was explained? This may be puzzling a little. As we move on you will understand it correctly. Samadhi does not occur instantly. Think, analyze, and sort out as we move forward, as we discuss in the future. Do not just accept what I say. Do not just reject what I say either. The Buddha had also advised that way. In the future, sort out yourself and make a determination what is appropriate and what is correct. Anyway, a Buddha would not have gone wrong. This is what is meant as Arya-Ashtanjika Magga in the Buddha Dhamma. Those three elements are the ones related to Sila. Are you clear now? Observe this Sila now. We hear people screaming loudly, our society is gone vile, they do not observe 5 precepts, and they are not virtuous. Why these people are not pious? We have the answers to these very clearly now. Like a mirror, we could retrieve them. If we go back to the rest of the elements, for Sila, to be in Sila what should be there first? We must have Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacca, Samma Kamantha, and Samma Jiva. Before we go to Sila, essentially, we must have Samma Sankappa. Samma Sankappa has 3 components: Nekkhamma Sankalpana, Avyapada Sankalpana, and Avyahinsa Sankalpana. Only the person who has mastered these Sankalpana can lead to the next step, the Sila. Then, these 3 Sankalpana cannot happen automatically. Because there is no Samma Sankappa, there is no Sila, they are immoral. Thus, to be virtuous, must possess Samma Sankappa. Samma Sankappa would not occur by chance. We should have what? For the occurrence of the 3 Sankalpana, Nekkhamma, Avyapada, and Avyahinsa. We need to have Samadhi, understanding of Caturarya Sathiyaya, which consists of the 4 elements, dukkha, cause of dukkha, freeing of dukkha, and the path leading to the freeing of dukkha. No Samma Sankappa due to lack of knowledge about these, due to absence of Samadhi. In the absence of Samma Sankappa, would there be Sila termed, Samma Vacca, Samma Kamantha, and Samma Jiva? Do not have Sila. I have put a lot of effort to understand why there is no Sila in people. We do not have the elementary groundwork. What is the base of the Buddha Savaka, a Buddhist? Where does he start the journey? Who is spearheading the path? What is first? Samadhi. People in this country do not have Samadhi. Samadhi must be present. Why is Samadhi absent? What are the requirements for Samadhi to occur? We must listen to Sadhāma for Samadhi to occur. There is no way to listen to Sadhāma. We cannot listen to Sadhāma, because to listen, someone has to explain Sadhāma, no Dhisana. What is explained is not Sadhāma. If we examine today, is what gets to listen, mostly Sadhāma? Disclose incorrect Dhamma, saying it is Sadhāma. These may hurt some. I am unable to do anything about it. These are our experiences, cannot help. When we were little, we read many Dhamma books, studied them, and listened to Dhamma. We would not be saying Samadhi is right seeing, if we received this intact. These things are very clear within Dhisana. These are mentioned in Sutta Pitaka. Because we do not get to listen to Sadhāma, we do not have Samadhi. Even by listening to Sadhāma, Samadhi would not occur. Because, binding requirement to gain Samadhi is not only listening to Sadhāma. There are other requirements. There are 2 requirements for Samadhi to occur. One of them is the chance to listen to Sadhāma. The other one is what? Judicious consideration, Yonaso Manasikara, must evaluate intelligently. Just listening would not do. Samadhi will not occur just by listening to Caturarya Sathiyaya. He must listen to it well and then consider judiciously. Is what is saying is truth? Is not this what has happened to us? Is not from this that we should be freed? Is not this the dukkha? Have not we gone wrong here? One who gains Samma Sankappa is the one who develops Sankalpana such as these and concludes that he has been in a deception, then considers them intelligently, and understands the truth. Therefore, Please understand, all the people in this country do not have Samadhi. Not having opportunity to listen to Sadhama is a different story. Even though, get to hear the Sadhama, it will not produce Samadhi in all either. They should have the other requirement for the arising of Samadhi. In addition to listening to Sadhama, there must be judicious evaluation of what heard. That is the reason for the Buddha to state that his Dhamma is for intelligent ones. Initially, Samadhi would not arise in everyone, by listening to Sadhama alone. Not everyone had become a Buddhist during the time of the Buddha because Dhamma was disclosed everywhere. Not everyone experienced Nibbāna either. Not everyone got on the actual path, the path of Dhamma either. Because of that, the Buddha did not advise everyone in Dhamma. The Buddha wakes up in the early hours of the day, search to which person that he should disclose Dhamma, after entering Mahakaruna Samapatti. What was the reason? Because there should be certain amount of intelligence to understand this Dhamma. The Dhamma is for them who are intelligent. Therefore, he had searched for that person, had approached him, and had guided him in Dhamma. Only that person is capable of producing Samadhi for him, when the Sadhama is explained to, when Dhamma is disclosed. Then, remember now, they are not Buddhists, though we say there is lot of Buddhists, over 70% of them in this country. If Buddhists were present, we would not have this devastation. I came across a piece of newspaper at my Dana, about a year and a half ago in the forest. I do not get to read newspapers as I lived in forests. As I started reading that piece of paper, I came across some census reports of this country. It talks about the crimes per day in other areas of this country excluding the areas, north and the east where the war was going on. It said that every 6 hours in a day there is a murder, a killing of a human being. That means 4 of them a day invariably. Then, a rape of a woman occurs every 6 hours. Sometimes, not all is reported. In it says that a big burglary occurs every 6 hours. Then, it says that every 35 minutes some kind of a crime happens somewhere. In Sri Lanka, this report is without taking into account the ongoing war in North and the East. If 70% of the population is Buddhists, will this kind of crimes happen? Can a war exist in the North? We need to talk about these things. They are within this Dhamma. These are elements due to moving away from Sadhama. We talk about our old glory, our Buddhist society and culture. What are the reasons for not existing these at that time, and to exist them today? Reasons are there. Then, these are the reasons. At that time, to be a Buddhist, Sila must be present. They are not in Sila now. To be in Sila, there should be those sankalpana called Samma Sankappa, must present Samadhi to occur. Those sankalpana, for Samadhi to arise we need to hear Sadhama, Yanaso Manasikara must be there. Then, due to lack of these elements, there is no Samadhi. Because Sadhama is not available to listen, and we do not analyze intelligently, there is no Samadhi. Because of that, there is no Samma Sankappa. Because of that, there is no Samma Vacha, Samma Kamantha, and Samma Jiva, the Sila. Further, we cannot give this to all the people in the country. There is no purpose served in just crying. Do not try to make anyone virtuous, repeatedly saying our society has become unreasonable. Remember that too, it would put you into trouble. I am presenting these to you for your own benefit, for you to fix your own weakness, not anyone else's weakness. What am I saying to these listeners? Do not go to point the finger at others, search within you. Learn to search and look within you while listening to everything that I say here. Look within, asking the question, do I have these matters within me? Correct yourself. Are you clear about this? I have heard people asking me, Venerable Sir, who will listen to this stuff what you are saying, would this country ever become virtuous? I am going like a machine disclosing these things not to make the world virtuous. It is to make you, the listeners here, virtuous. Even if the whole population in Sri Lanka, 19.5 million people, is non-virtuous, if you make a firm determination and become virtuous, at least one person in this country had become virtuous. Think that way. Other thing. Other sila does not affect us. What affects us is our own sila. What is important to us are our own samadhi, and our own panna. There is no benefit to us from other people's sila. Samadhi, or panna, one has only what he himself has done. Therefore, keep in mind to become a virtuous person yourself. 2. Develop samadhi by yourself. By developing all those elements, try to become a true Buddhist. Are you clear about what was said? Now we try to do everything by jumping out of these. Having nothing with us, we try to tell the whole world. Everyone asking others. The people in this country are brilliant in preaching others. They cannot practice. This is the root cause of these all. Do you understand now what I have been saying? It is only the one who has accomplished that lot is capable of going to the next step, Samadhi Skanda, to the segment known as Samadhi, to the three Maga elements Samma, Vayama, Samasati, and Samma Samadhi. Is it clear to you, then? In there also, the Buddha had distinctly stated what they are. Seated in virtue, only the one who is seated in Sila will lead to Samadhi. There is no Samadhi without Sila. This Sila is very essential. The person who does not observe the Sila, Samma, Vacha, Samakkamantha, and Samajiva is not a Buddhist. Please drop your Buddhist label away. State that we cannot observe this, and we are not Buddhists. There is no problem. It is being honest with you. At least be truthful to you. If you are a Buddhist, do it. If not, stop doing it. There is no command here for you to be that. There is no law requiring everyone to be a Buddhist either in this country. No one has asked us to observe these either. If you like, do it. Anyway, be honest to yourself. Are you clear? Remember, this is a very self-regulating religion, and the Buddha had not introduced rules and commands anywhere. I think all the religions have freedom, though some people, later on, through rules and regulations have tried to strengthen power. They are not so. Then, one who gets Sila to occur goes to the Samadhi. Afterward, they are called Samma Vayama, Samasati, and Samma Samadhi. What is Samma Vayama? I know the answer that you will give, right effort. This does not work. The Buddha had very clearly described the meaning of it. In many Dhisana, it is mentioned as 4 true main efforts. You may sometimes have heard this phrase before, 4 true main efforts. What is Vayama? For what are we exerting effort? One is to suppress Akusala already born and bred, the other one is to block Akusala not arisen yet, in another side, then it is said, to protect the Kusala that is born, and to produce Kusala that has not arisen yet. Are you clear about it? Needed to protect and maintain the already born Kusala, and give rise to the Kusala that not yet born. On the other side, must get rid of the already born Akusala. That means suppression of them, required, not to give rise to Akusala, not born yet. The efforts we put in for this are called 4 true main efforts. 2 words, Kusala and Akusala, clearly mentioned when Vayama was explained. Now a question arises, what is Kusala, and what is Akusala? Here a big debate going on in this country about these 2 words, when listening to Dhammadisana. Many people questioning at Dhamma discussions and Dhamma sermons, what is Kusala and what is Akusala? People could give various individual interpretations to this. The Buddha had explained these 2 words at various occasions. However, we should avoid getting involved with these debates. It is enough for us to know what kusala and what akusala just for us for our need related to this discussion. Then we must keep in mind the meanings of kusala and akusala within the framework of the Noble Eightfold Path applicable to Samavayama. Let us see what akusala are. Any thought you might have about it. Did the Buddha mean abstaining from killing by this? Now, many think this akusala is killing, thievery, etc. and the kusala as refraining from them. There also are places that they are described that way, in Buddha Dhamma. However, it is not applicable here. We are now already abstained from killing, abstained from stealing through sila. If it is so, that story should not come up here again. It is Nibbāna that is explained here as akusala, and nothing else. Have you heard about something called Nibbāna? There is something called Nibbāna in the citta. Everyone's citta is shining, sparkles, has a very strong citta. Like a gemstone, it is very shining. Unfortunately, it has disappeared, because of externally acquired akusala, because of akusala Dhamma. It is as if a jewel is covered with dust. Like that, 5 tarnishing things cover the shine of the citta. Because they soil the shine, they are called Nibbāna. It is those Nibbāna the Buddha meant as akusala in this situation. Then, the Buddha discloses in one sutta what Nibbāna are, what akusala are, and what kilesa are. They are these 5. What are they? Let us see. They are Kamokanda, Vyapada, Thinamida, Uddhacca Katudca, and Vicikicca. Kamokanda are desires to have a svada aiming at the doors, eye, ear, nose, etc., the desires to entertain sensual faculties. Briefly, this is called Kamokanda because of the shine of citta is obliterated. The citta is weak now and it chases after sensual objects. That is why the truth of the loka not seen. Then the next thing is Vyapada. We do not get pleasing objects all the time. Get attached to pleasing ones, and that is Kamokanda. Deterred is pleasing ones. There arise the Vyapada, the anger, and that is called Vyapada. It is an akusala, an Nibbāna, kilesa, then that is the second one. What is the third one? Thinamida. It is the nature of laziness in the citta and the body, the lethargy, the laziness. However, it is not for doing akusala, laziness to be involved in kusala Dhamma. Withdrawing, existing the nature of laziness, and exists lethargy in citta and body. When the citta is lazy, invariably, the body also is lazy. One way or another, this laziness in citta and body is called Thinamida. It is an akusala. It is a Nibbāna. The next, the fourth Nibbāna is Uddhacca Katudca. The thing called Uddhacca Katudca. Here there are 2. Nibbānas really is Uddhacca and Katudca. However, they are considered as one unit as they act together. Uddhacca means the unsettled nature, the fluctuating nature, scattering nature of the citta. It cannot stay with one object. The mind runs around, skipping in 10 directions, unsettled, jumping from one instinct to another. This is unsettledness in the citta, and is called Uddhacca. Next is Katudca. This is said in combination with previous one. Everyone except an arahant has collected akusala. It does not have much importance after reaching the stream. Enter a supramundane level, it does not have that much effect. All pruthaggyana, those who have not reached sovan, however, have hidden in their minds the guilty feelings, blameworthy feelings, remorseful feelings about the papa that they have committed, and is called Katudca. It is as if non-healing wounds stirring up the mind, with feelings, oh I did that papa, habitually. Inescapable. People may escape even after committing murder. Sometimes from the law or from the blemishes in the society. However, cannot escape from oneself. One knows within him that he committed it, and that thing is called Katudca. The vacillation nature about a papa the person had done, feeling bad inside, disappointment about missing an opportunity to do a pina. regretting about it. Sometimes regret for anything. Oh, I got a chance to do that, I did not make use of it at that time. This is what is called Katuja. Regret for not doing Pina, and regret for doing Papa. Then, this is called Uddhacca Katuja. The fifth one is Vicikiccha, the doubts about the Buddha, Dhamma, Arya Sangha, rebirth, heaven and hell, etc. Is there one like that? Is it true? Are we going to be born again after death? Is there actually something called rebirth? Like this doubts over various things. These things we cannot envision, we cannot see them by the naked eye, and we need to realize them by use of our intelligence. There is this nature of having suspicion and skepticism about everything. That is Vicikiccha. We will not experience Nibbāna as long as these five Nirvana are present. The efforts we take to destroy them, it is, in one way we call kusala. Arisen akusala, when there is kamadkanda it is an arisen akusala. However, at that time, there is no vyapada. Their vyapada is an unborn akusala. When kamadkanda is present, it is a born akusala. If vyapada is not present, it is an unborn akusala. That is why kamadkanda is born akusala. What do we do to destroy the born akusala? Now I am going to talk about samatha bhavana. These things are suppressed by samatha bhavana. Then, what goes on when we meditate? If kamadkanda is present, that disappears. There is no way to occur vyapada while cultivating that bhavana. That is what the Buddha had disclosed, had described born akusala and unborn akusala that way. Next, we need talk about kusala. What is kusala? The good qualities that appear in a mind when nirvana are suppressed are called kusala. All five nirvana are present all the time in an abhavita citta, in a diffused citta. In a person who does not practice bhavana, five nirvanas are present in various degrees. All these five are present. However, they do not act together at once. They are present in different intensities. When we keep meditating, happen what? These things are suppressed, when we keep practicing samatha bhavana. When they are suppressed, surface what? There is another thing that surface. When the five nirvana, kamadkanda, vyapada, thinamida, uddhacca katuja, and vicikiccha are suppressed, the pabhashvara, shine in the citta emerge. What is there, then, in a pabhashvara citta? The dhyana elements. The five elements called vithaka, vichara, priti, sukha, and ekaggata. I am not going to describe them now as they are very deep. Bhavana skanda, shall talk about them another day. It is these dhyana, meant here. The first dhyana has all those five elements, vithaka, vichara, priti, sukha, and ekaggata. The second dhyana does not have vithaka, and vichara, only priti, sukha, and ekaggata are present. At third dhyana, it eliminates even priti. What remain are only sukha, and ekaggata. At fourth dhyana, it eliminates even sukha. Only ekaggata is present at the last one. Giving rise to these it is kusala, and is nothing but all these dhyana. Then, suppressing the five nirvana and giving rise to dhyana citta's four true main efforts, called samavayama in the Noble Eightfold Path. Please do not be confused about this. There were different explanations given at different circumstances. Today I have discussed the Noble Eightfold Path. Are you clear about what I have been discussing? You may find difficult to keep this in mind. Do not stay with old opinions. Now what does Samma Vayama mean? It is this four true main efforts. What we mean by four true main efforts is giving rise to kusala, and getting rid of akusala. We must have a good understanding about these. This is what needs to be done. We do it by means of samatha bhavana. Question. Now, Venerable Sir, others had taught us many a time, and the way we have understood from others is not as kusala akusala, but as pina power. We many times get to hear them not as pina and power. All these occur in the citta. When a good deed is done, it is a pina thought. When a bad deed is done, it is a power thought. Please explain this for us. You have explained dhyana chitta as kusala. Then what does pina mean? Answer. Yes, people talk about a thing called pina and power. Quite often, various people interpret them differently. Yes, it is true. Various people use those words. I think it is best to define pina and power. Those two are mundane. Those actions done for mundane benefits to go to heaven we could call pina. Killing is a power. Hell-bound. Abstaining from killing is pina. However, the Buddha had used the word kusala also there. What I see here is a problem with words. Then, why are we hanging on to words? Words are not Dhamma, are they? The Buddha had to face many issues in trying to explain the supramundane Dhamma, because a language arises, based on Dhamma cognizable by the sensual faculties. Different societies communicate with each other about Dhamma cognized by their sensual faculties by a series of representation, and they are called languages. Some worship Pali language assuming that there is some power in it. Keep this well in mind. It cannot be so. Pali cannot possess a huge power. Just like Sinhala, Tamil, English, Latin, and Greek, Pali is only another language. It is a combination of words formed by a group of people to communicate among members of that group about things cognized by their sensual faculties. Then, these series of impressions appear. These languages come up based on Dhamma cognizable to sensual faculties. Then, to which sensual faculty does the Nibbāna disclosed by the Buddha is cognizable? To wisdom, it is cognizable. Then, at that time, only person who has reached that state was only the Buddha. Later on there existed arahants after practicing the Buddha's Magga. There were people who have obtained Magga Phala. Only they could understand for sure the things explained by the Buddha. The others would not understand. Therefore, the Buddha had to explain the Dhamma not known, which people had never encountered, cognized, or experienced using words known or experienced by people. Do you understand it? Therefore, we face these confusions. Therefore, may I ask everyone not to hang on to words. Do not be entangled with words. It is very clear. We are currently discussing the Four Noble Truths. That is dukkha and the way to be free from it, about the removal of cause for dukkha. Then, it mentioned the Noble Eightfold Path as the path. Then, we explained what sila is within it. Now here, it is called kusala. Then, this is what we should do as Buddhists. Pina power has been always there in the world. Dana is pina. Giving dana is pina. Being virtuous is pina. Become heaven bound by giving dana, could gain heavenly wealth or human wealth. By observing sila, a birth in a human or heaven is possible. However, we will not be able to experience Nibbāna by dana and sila alone. Therefore, let me give a simple example, just to explain. Pina and power are those karma that are producing birth in mundane heaven or hell. Kusala and akusala are those activities required for achieving supramundane states. Gave this just as a thought, please do not take it firmly. I tried to explain it this way because you questioned. Let us stop it right here. We do not have to struggle with words. Why? We cannot understand this Dhamma by debating and arguments. This Dhamma cannot be perceived by debates and arguing. It is a Dhamma needs to be cognized using one's own wisdom and intelligence. Need to be realized within oneself by own intelligence. Question: Dear Venerable Sir, does kusala chitta mean cultivation of chitta by bhavana? Answer: I was going to say it. Now the problem here is in the words. Keeping words aside, let us call, if you would like to, kusala a kusala, or can call it a pina. It does not matter what we want to call it. There is that story about the rose flower. We may call it a rose flower, a camphor flower, or a jasmine flower, but the difference is not in the name. By not calling it, A rose flower, the color and the odor of the rose flower is unaffected. It has its own specific aroma and the beauty. Thus, if we hang on to words, we will only be in trouble, stuck with it as if the tusker elephants are stuck in sticky clay. Various people are debating and arguing about these things, and we hear them. As if to show off their pundit class, they talk about various new things that they have discovered. We do not have to be at such a low level. Let us advance ahead. Thus, we do not have to think about them. Let us continue with this process. Here it talks about Dana. Next, it talks about Sila. Here, it talks about Bhavana also. Then, if you would like, call it by whatever you want to call, Pina or Kusala. What do you say? For those reasons, shall we forget it? Then, Samavayama, what happens when this is done? When we suppress akusala giving rise to kusala, it results in emergence of the shining, Pabhashvara Chitta. That Chitta is capable of focusing this Chitta to any deep Dhamma in the world. We now focus that Chitta on Samasati. What is Samasati? It is not right mindfulness. Yes, Sati is mindfulness. The Buddha had given dhisana as to where the mindfulness should be established. He had said where we should establish the mindfulness is on Sattva Satipatthana. Had talked about 4 places on which the mindfulness must be established, about body, about feelings, about mind, and about Dhamma. About body, Kekayani Pasi Viharati Atapi Sampajano Satima Vinaya Lōkaya JKDHA the Manasan. There are 14 ways of developing mindfulness in body in Satipatthana Sutta. We shall discuss this in detail when we talk about meditation. It is the development of Sattva Satipatthana itself is Samasati. What have been hearing up to now? If you are a Buddhist, observe 5 precepts, 5 precepts permanently, 8 on Poya Day. This we have inherited from Hindu religion. To say in short, these things have been there. Queen Mahamaya had been observing Uposa for Sila the day Siddhartha was conceived in her womb. It was a Hindu concept at that time to observe 5 precepts permanently and 8 precepts on Poya Day. The Buddha does not appear to talk about 5 precepts. Did you see? I have explained it earlier too. I repeat it now. Now, for what purpose, the Buddhas appear? Then, there the answer came. Buddhas appear to explain Sattva Satipatthana to the world. Remember that very well. What is the core, the essence and substance of Buddha Dhisana? It is this Sattva Satipatthana Bhavana. We can experience Nibbāna only if Sattva Satipatthana is developed, could be free from dukkha forever. What do the other religions have, when the Sāsanaya is not there, and when there is no Buddha? Everything excepting Sattva Satipatthana Bhavana is there. There was Dana, there was Sila, and there was Bhavana in them. Those people offered Dana and other religions also practiced Dana, other religions also had Sila. There was Dana, Sila, and Bhavana time when Sāsanaya was absent. They practiced these and developed dhyana, gained birth in Brahmaloka. They have developed Ashta Samapatti to level of Nirvana Nirvana. They developed dhyana that enabled them birth in Brahma worlds and they thought those levels as the lasting happiness. However, the Buddha realized that is not true. When did he realize it? What did he initially study under teachers, Alarakalama and Udakarama? They were those 8 Samapatti Samatha Bhavana, which took him up to Nirvana Nirvana. However, they are mundane. They are anicca. They are dukkha. They are anatta. They are mundane. Therefore, that is not ultimate truth. Thus, he had to search for a bhavana that enables him to realize the ultimate truth. What is it? It was to discover that the Buddha spent 6 years doing difficult to do things. Discovered what? It was this Sattva Satipatthana. Are you clear about this? Thus, the Buddhas appear to proclaim Sattva Satipatthana. Other meditation methods were there, fixing deficiencies, arranging them orderly method, introduced the correct bhavana. What the Buddha meant by Samasati in Noble Eightfold Path is this Sattva Satipatthana. It was this 4. Thus, we cannot get away by saying it is right mindfulness. When we develop this, as we develop Sattva Satipatthana, when we develop Samasati, what happens? we dwell penetrating into the body to understand the actual properties of the body, with virya, with intelligence, and alertness. Atapisampajano satima, looking at the body he dwells analyzing the actual nature of the body. How? With effort, with wisdom, with mindfulness, vinaya lokaya jkdha without attachment and friction. I just took this one as an example. We must get to this point. There are 4 fundamental requirements to achieve this. They are effort, wisdom, mindfulness. 3 of them are there. What is there? If there is no attachment or clash, equanimity of citta, upeksha. Thus, we need 4 fundamental requirements to develop sattva satipatthana, virya, intelligence, mindfulness, and equanimity. It needs mindfulness again to be mindful of the sattva satipatthana. We need to have another mindfulness to do it. Now, this is a big problem. What is this mindfulness? Present moment, persistence mindfulness. People's citta is always in the past at one time. Recollecting a good action in the past, enjoying the memories, recollecting a bad past act and repentant over it, live in the past, at another time, just dreaming about a future activity. That is what they do. Every moment, the citta is in the past, or else, in the future. Then past are dead things, and the future not born yet. Then, people are in those two. Are not those people like the dead? The past is a dead thing and the future is yet to be born. If we are in those two situations, are we living? Not living. That is why it is said that apamadho amathapadan, pamadho madchanopadan. What does pamadho mean? Citta is in the past or in the future. It is in two extremes. What do we need to be apamadho? Where do we have these 4? They are present in 4 dhyana. All these elements are present. Upeksha is present there. I am not going to state it. The Buddha had not said this clearly that he must gain the 4th dhyana. Samatha is essential. Without it, no vidarshana. Samavayama is samatha. Again, it is the vidarshana what is called sattva satipatthana. If I go to explain this in depth, it might open an assortment of problems. I am stopping here for the time being. Keep in mind, what happens to us once we have established mindfulness in sattva satipatthana, what grows there? What does the Bojjhanga Sutta say about it to us, at another place? Sati Sambojjhanga. Once the mindfulness is established in sattva satipatthana, Sati Sambojjhanga keeps growing. What happens after establishing mindfulness continually on Sati Sambojjhanga, sattva satipatthana? Begin to cognize the real nature of the world. What is the real nature of the world? What is its real situation? Begin to come about the Yathabhuta Ganana. Yathabhuta means what? The reality of the world is what? The anicca. Begin to notice the appearing disappearing. Begin to see dukkha. Do see dukkha, okay? Does no thinking, do no speaking, do no chanting, or do no reciting. With that clear citta, following the kamatahan of an accomplished person with experience, when the sattva satipatthana is developed, when Sati Sambojjhanga is being developed, what grows in him? Dhammavicaya begins to grow, sees appearing disappearing. See what? Via wisdom, through wisdom eye, not through the physical eye, sees with wisdom, wisdom eye. Begins to see Dhammavicaya, appearing disappearing, then as he keeps on further developing, begins to grow Sati Sambojjhanga, Dhammavicaya Sambojjhanga. As it continues to grow, happens what? Grows up Virya Sambojjhanga. A Virya, a mighty Virya, begin to see a truth that we have never seen in the world. That is what is called Virya. Then Virya keeps growing. As Virya grows and continue developing Sati Sambojjhanga with the mindfulness established only on sattva satipatthana, next get to experience a mighty happiness, feels lightness in citta. Kilesa begins to disappear. Samatha bhavana just suppresses the Nibbāna. Whereas, when he sees the reality of the world via vidarshana bhavana, happens what? Kilesa begins to disappear. We clutch onto the world believing that it is permanent, fulfilling and eternal. Now, we see the world as anicca, dukkha, and anatta. When we see this way, as the kilesa are disappearing, as they are being destroyed, the citta begin to free from the world. No reciting. With that clear citta, following the Kammatthanavan. Accomplished person with experience, when the Sattva Satipatthana is developed, when Sati Sambojjhanga is being developed, what grows in him, Dhammavicaya begins to grow. Sees appearing disappearing. See what, via wisdom, through wisdom eye, not through the physical eye, sees with wisdom. Wisdom eye begins to see Dhammavicaya appearing, disappearing, then as he keeps on further developing, begins to grow Sati Sambojjhanga, Dhammavicaya Sambojjhanga. As it continues to grow, happens what? Grows up Virya. Sambojjhanga. A Virya, a mighty Virya, begin to see a truth that we have never seen in the world. That is what is called Virya. Then Virya keeps growing. As Virya grows and continue developing Sati Sambojjhanga with the mindfulness established only on Sattva Satipatthana, next get to experience a mighty happiness, feels lightness in citta. Kilesa begins to disappear. Samatha bhavana just suppresses the Nibbāna. Whereas, when he sees the reality of the world via vidarshana bhavana, happens what? Kilesa begins to disappear. We clutch on to the world believing that it is permanent, fulfilling and eternal. Now, we see the world as anicca, dukkha, and anatta. When we see this way, as the kilesa are disappearing, as they are being destroyed, the citta begin to free from the world. He sees these with the citta and it operates in association with the heart. Uddhacita, upper citta, operates in association of the brain. Happens what? As he sees these, as the adhicittan operates in association with the heart, citta then starts growing upward. This is something to be seen within self. One gets to experience it oneself. We do not need to explain this beyond. After that, he begins to feel a pretty, and lightness begins to feel a colossal pretty. As the defilements, the kilesa are being destroyed, he feels lightness. Then after pretty, what is called passaddhi, it is lightness. The body is light, and the citta is light. Lightness starts to grow. Do not feel any tiredness or worn out feeling. It is like sitting in the sky. Sattva Satipatthana keeps growing. Progressively, it keeps growing, because the mindfulness is firmly established there. Citta does not waver, as if a picture hung on the wall by a strong nail. After that lightness, and that is passaddhi, then samadhi appears. Now samadhi starts to grow. This is what Sammā Samadhi is. Now there is a big question to everyone about the meaning of Sammā Samadhi. When mindfulness is established on Sattva Satipatthana, Dhammavicaya grows, that is Sammā Samadhi, Samadhi grown via Virya, pretty, and passaddhi. This is called Vidarshana Samadhi. Then, what is called Sammā Samadhi is really Vidarshana Samadhi. This is an exceptional Samadhi, not the Dhyana Samadhi developed through Samatha Bhavana, which we discussed previously. This is Vidarshana. Now kilesa destroyed. Dhyana Samadhi appears through suppression of kilesa by Samatha Bhavana there. Through Satipatthana Bhavana, kilesa disappeared, destroyed, disintegrated. In turn again, a Samadhi occurs via that, dhyana starts to grow. This again grows up to fourth dhyana. After development, it moves into upekkha. This is also known as Sankha-upekkha. What is next after Samadhi? Samadhi Sambojjhanga. The next is upekkha Sambojjhanga. Upekkha means Vidarshana Samadhi. Sankha-upekkha continues to develop into a neutral place, a kagata that does not have any attachment or clash. This is called Sammā Samadhi. This Sammā Samadhi grows to become upekkha. Sammā Samadhi is what happens next through that. What is the purpose of Sammā Samadhi? What uses Vidarshana Samadhi have? It is for freeing, yes, for freeing. There the chitta is freed, in Vimutti. After that, there appears Vimutti Ganana Dishana. Now this is the fourth time wanting to free. This is the position called Vimutti. Prior to that, gets to reap fruits of the path, Sovan, Sakrudagami, and Anagami. At the fourth time, chitta is completely freed through Sammā Samadhi. Experiences Nibbāna. Supramundane chitta rises. When it appears for the first time, we call it Sovan. 3 of the 10 Sanyojana, which tie a person to samsara, are destroyed at that point. At first time when the chitta is freed, individual is free of 3 Sanyojana, Sakaya Ditti, Vicikiccha, and Silabhata Paramasa. It is him we call Sovan. One who has experienced Nibbāna for the first time, and he again establishes mindfulness on Sattva Satipatthana. He starts developing Sattva Satipatthana again. The remaining kilesa are much finer than the ones previously destroyed. Coarse kilesa disappears early. A heap group of kilesa finer than the previous lot begins to disappear, destroyed, and disintegrated. After destroy of 50% of Sanyojana, namely, Kamaraga, and Pataya, he gets to the next supramundane level, Sakrudagami. He experiences Nibbāna for the second time. That means Nirodha Chittapaya. He is called Sakrudagami. What do we do again from the beginning? Keep developing Sattva Satipatthana. Nirodha Chittapaya is experiencing Nibbāna for the third time after complete destroy of Kamaraga and Pataya. That means he has destroyed 5 out of 10 Sanyojana, free of Sakaya Ditti, Vicikiccha, Silabhata Paramasa, Kamaraga, and Pataya completely. That person will never have a birth in Kamaloka. He would never be born in human worlds or heavenly worlds as an origination. He is the anagami person, would definitely take birth in Brahma worlds, what we call Shuddhavasa, keep in mind, and experience Nibbāna there. Sovan person will have maximum 7 bhava in Kama worlds, and experience Nibbāna within it. Sakrudagami person will have 1 bhava in Kamaloka, either as a human or as a deity. Sovan person is never hell-bound. Then, Sakrudagami person will come only once to the human world. Sovan person would appear 7 times. Anagami person will never take birth in heaven or human world. He will invariably be born in Brahma worlds called Shuddhavasa, and he experiences Nibbāna there. That is experiencing Nibbāna for the third time. There are 5 more Sanyojana, Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Mana, Udadcha, and Avijña, very sturdy and finer Sanyojana. He returns to Sattva Satipatthana to destroy these 5, the same manner. Again, when he keeps on developing Sattva Satipatthana, destroying those kilesa, the remainder of kilesa, he experiences Nibbāna for the 4th time. This is the true Vimutti. He is what we call Arahant. Then, the remainder of 5 Sanyojana also ended. All 10 Sanyojana are destroyed. He will never have a birth again at any place as an origination. We call him the individual who had experienced Nibbāna. It is him we call an Arahant. Now, that is what we call Vimutti. In him arises Vimutti Jnana Dashana after experiencing Vimutti for the 4th time. It occurs in other stages too. When he attains Sovan, a Jnana Dashana arise. It is called Pratyaveksha Jnana. That and that Sanyojana ended. Still has not completed Vimutti. He returns to Bhavana thinking that he needs to do some more. At Sakrudagami, at 2nd stage, Jnana arises. Yet, he knows what Sanyojana still to be destroyed, and only these Sanyojana are destroyed already. He starts Bhavana again thinking that he need to destroy some more. Anagami too is like that. However, after becoming an Arahant, he knows that he has nothing more to do toward Nibbāna. Arises in him the wisdom that the celibacy obedience over, this is last life, and last birth. He begins to understand the 4 noble truths again. He perceives Dukkha, Samudaya, Nibbāna, and the Noble Eightfold Path, begins to seek at your area Satyaya in 3 ways. Jnana appears as Satya Jnana, as Kritya Jnana, and as Kruta Jnana. That is the Vimutti Jnana Dashana. Then, 8 elements are there. It becomes 10 with the addition of Vimutti and Vimutti-Jnana Darshana. This is the Buddhist procedure. I did not describe some items in detail. We can discuss them in more detail than this on another time, another day, taking Sila, Samadhi, and Bhavana separately. Today, in general as a synopsis, I made considerable effort to explain in simple terms to you with a rough idea of what the Buddha had disclosed. The Buddha's pristine Dhamma is what, and who a Buddhist is. We talked this long. I think I have made considerable effort to explain them as simple as possible. I do not think there is a way to make it simpler than this. If it were possible, the Buddha would have done it. I am incapable of going beyond him. Then, not all can comprehend this. We need certain amount of intelligence. From the moment Samadhi arisen, until we get there, we need mindfulness and intelligence. Then, we have this problem because we lack these two elements. Some, saying that the Dhamma is very difficult for ordinary people to understand, have tried to make it simpler and ordinary. Because of that, Dhamma has been distorted to the maximum, facing an ultimate state of annihilation. We cannot turn this way that way, as we would like to do. What is the reason? Much better than us, the Buddha was exceptionally intelligent. What the Exalted One could not do, we would not be capable of doing. I know, many people have approached me and asked, can you simplify this further? Could you simplify this so the common person may understand? Many have asked me this question. How could an innocent one like me do it? Something the Buddha could not do. I am a man like a speck of sand. It cannot be done that way. That is the extent I am capable of doing. Therefore, I cannot speak beyond that. It is something like that. It definitely requires lot of effort by you to grasp it. Therefore, saying it is difficult, some do easy things. By saying, cannot do it. Let's do it this way under the circumstances, saying that, this also is like that example that I use quite often. It reminds me again the story of Nusruddin. He had been living those days somewhere, you may have heard about him. One day, this man had been kneeling down and looking for something in his front yard, scratching the ground. He was searching for something that he had lost. A neighbor walking by, seen him, had asked him, Nusruddin, what are you looking for? Then Nusruddin had answered, I lost my keys, I am looking for my key. The neighbor also joined him in the search and both had been looking for the key. During that time, another neighbor had been going past that place. He had noticed the two people crawling and searching. He had asked, Nusruddin, what are looking for there? Then Nusruddin had replied saying, I lost my key and I am looking for that key. The second neighbor had asked again, where did you lose it? Nusruddin had replied, I lost it inside the house. Then the second neighbor had queried, so, why are you looking in front yard, not inside the house where you dropped the key? Then, Nusruddin had said, this is where there is light. You may have heard this story in a different way, but this is how I have heard it. Now, the key had fallen inside Nusruddin's house. It was dark inside, difficult to search. However, there was light outside, had looked for the key in front yard, therefore. Our people are like that. Today the people who call themselves Buddhists should dig into this heap of trash. In this fathom-long body, it is where we could find Dukkha, cause, Nibbāna, and the path. The whole Four Noble Truths can be discovered in it. This is what we have to keep digging and search, if we want to be free from this, if we want to get out of it, but it is very difficult. Yes, development of the Noble Eightfold Path is difficult. It is difficult to grasp, very hard. Therefore, it is just like searching for the key somewhere else, while the key still sits inside. Now, leaving away the appropriate way to do it, do easy things. Then, keep worshipping trees and rocks and live on. Worship of trees, rocks, came from certain sankalpana of divine beings. Worship of images, worship of certain wealth, worship of relics, etc. intruded for what purpose? Because that work is difficult, do the easy thing. Then, let those who like these practices continue with them. What is the reason? Not everyone has samadhi. We do not have to quarrel over this. We cannot do anything about it by being sad either. If possible, we will rescue all of them. We cannot do things even the Buddha could not do. This Dhamma, I have explained, will be understood by a very limited number. A handful of young people, intelligent people, and educated people are there. Unfortunately, they do not get to hear this Dhamma today. Why is that? This is my own experience. When we were searching for the Pristine Dhamma, we too did not come across any person who properly and clearly could explain it to us. However, we did not get discouraged. For some luck, as a vipaka of past good karma, we were able to gather pieces from here and there, from different individuals and various sources. As we were pleased with them as the Buddha's Dhisana, we assembled them together. I say this rather bravely. The reason being, just like me, many people are there in this country searching for this. However, they are stranded today. On the other hand, because of their cry, various people have come forward with tutoring classes, workshops, sermons, etc. Then, those honest and intelligent people are whom that get misled. With much compassion for them, I am conducting these discussions. Regardless of this had been broadcasted over the radio, though many will get to listen, several others will still miss it. Even if they listen, Samadhi would not arise in all of them either. They require the preparatory elements to arise Samadhi. However much they get to listen to Sadhama, they also need that intelligence. I have aimed this discussion at that small number of people who have the intelligence to think. I cannot do anything if someone is hurt. I do not have any intention to hurt anyone, condemn anyone, criticize anyone, and make anyone feel guilty, or deplore anyone. Hence, this Dhamma discussion was aimed at that handful of honest people, having a trained mind, who are fortunate and are searching for the truth but fallen into trouble. If this becomes useful even to a handful of people, then this is the biggest Dhamma puja one could perform. This is the Buddha puja. Please keep this well in mind. This is the bona fide Buddha puja. Question, then, Venerable Sir, within these Dhammadhisana, there is an acceptance and a tradition in the general society that the Buddha had declared two things called Pratipatti Puja and Amisa Puja. Then, what they say as Pratipatti is different to what you have described here as developing Pratipatti that needed to be practiced by ourselves. Then, they define as Amisa Puja the efforts they make to gain some kind of sadha by doing things such as making offerings. To what extent is this compatible with this Dhamma? Answer, yes, I will answer briefly, because you asked. Pratipatti Puja is development of the Noble Eightfold Path. A Buddhist can obtain the ultimate outcome only by this. That is what we must do. This is what the Buddha had described as Buddha Puja. Put into practice of his Dhamma is Buddha Puja, nothing else. Remember, I talked about the sick monk with a skin disease. He treated him with compassion and kindness, and then clearly stated, if anyone take care of a sick person, it is like taking care of me, and it amounts to worshipping me. That is Buddha worship. Practice of the Dhamma, practice of the Noble Eightfold Path is very clearly is the Buddha Puja. Nevertheless, today with a twist, they have included the Sila, Samadhi, Panna, which are things to be cultivated for Noble Eightfold Path, as Buddha Puja. Those three things they have defined as puja. I do not know that the Buddha had even talked about puja. Remember well, puja is an element of religions. Puja exists in all religions. There is no tale labeled as puja in Buddha Dhamma, not a single puja to my knowledge. It was in view of the puja that existed in religious performances. The Buddha said if you want to worship, worship Dhamma. This means nothing else, but practices his Dhamma. Now, Bhikkhu Vakali had ordained with the desire to watch the Buddha's body mesmerized by his body. He kept on watching the Buddha from a place that he could see him, since his ordination. After few days, the Buddha called him and asked him what he gains by watching his filthy body. The Buddha had said, if you really want to see me, perceive my Dhamma. You might have heard the Pali statement, Yodaman Pasati Soman Pasati. Whoever sees my Dhamma sees me. Therefore, seeing this Dhamma is what turns into Buddha Puja. Then, remember, it is seeing Dhamma through the practice of Dhamma. Remember again, even his living body was not the Buddha. That is the reason for rebuking Vakali saying, no purpose served by watching my body. If you want to see me, perceive Dhamma. Then, the Buddha had addressed his body as filthy body himself while he was still alive. What are we talking today? It was filthy body at that time. The Buddha identified his body as filthy while he was still alive, followed by stating, "If you want to see me, see Dhamma." Then, the Buddha is not any of them. It is something that exists at a place we never think of. The Buddha is what we realized as anicca, dukkha, and anatta via Dhamma. That is anatta sunyata. None wants to talk about it. Cannot understand, yes, cannot understand it. It is true. However, we must go there. To understand it, we must develop our citta by suppressing 5 nirvana and progress on sattva satipatthana. Only he sees it, only he would understand the meaning of Sankirthena Panchchapadanaskana dukkha, which the Buddha disclosed at the beginning. The Arahant is the person who has gone to that maximum, and who has seen it himself. Seeing of this, it is the seeing of the Buddha. That is what Buddha is. Seeing, it means freeing of citta and entering sunyata, after seeing anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Therefore, it is not about seeing the foul body. Disregarding the advice given to Vakali, currently people have become worshippers of dead bones, fragments of bones, pieces of teeth, and so on, offering puja to them, saying that they are sacred relics of the Buddha, sacred tooth relics, etc. This is what we have invented as puja. The right puja is to practice the path. Currently people make offerings to the Buddha. What can we offer the Buddha? Think about it, what we can offer the Buddha. What is needed is to free ourselves from dukkha. Where can we find the Buddha? Within ourselves. Where can we find the Dhamma? Within ourselves. Where can we find the Sangha? Within ourselves. Where can we find the 4 Noble Truths? Within ourselves. He had said that we could find the whole world within this fathom-long body. Therefore, we need to understand this point, practice Dhamma, and free ourselves from dukkha. That is what we must do. Instead of practicing, we are making offerings, which we have inherited or copied from other religions, and had become a culture. It is a fabrication. They named the practice of the path as puja by practice. Those practice of bhavana etc. named as puja by practice. The Buddha had not talked about a thing called puja. It exists today, okay to talk about it. Then, they labeled bhavana as a puja by practice. Then they created another one called amisa puja. What is it? What does it mean by amisa? We have created some kind of a big image using bricks, cements, rocks, and paints of various heights and shapes, calling a Buddha, and keep on worshipping it, saying that we are worshipping via Dhamma, disregarding the Buddha's advice that it is wrong to worship even his living body, and his live body was not the Buddha. Is it okay? This is confusing. We do not find these stories in the Buddha Dhisana. These are fabricated things added later on. Then, we have come up with something identified as sacred relics. We worship pagodas thinking that sacred relics are deposited in them. Believing that Bo tree helped the Buddha in gaining enlightenment, they worship the Bo tree. I do not know that the Bo tree helped him to gain enlightenment. I have not heard it anywhere. Why? He would have reached enlightenment that night irrespective of under which tree he was sitting. It was his improved mind and the paramita that helped, but not this tree in his enlightenment. Because of that, by coining things, they came up with amisa puja, worship of statues, pagodas, and Bo trees with food, flowers, fragrance, and light. They call this amisa. Besides, there was something at the time of the Buddha. I know of a puja, but it was not called amisa. They do it as a puja now. Food, all beings depend on food. Food is required for their survival. Arahants and bhikkhus need it. The Buddhas, Arahants, and bhikkhus all need food until they pass away. This is essential for their survival. Chivara are necessary for covering their nudity, and protect themselves from cold and heat. They need it for guarding themselves against flies and mosquitoes. They called it Shivara. The food is called Pindapatha. Then, a dwelling is needed to reside, to protect them from inclement weather and against wild animals. They called it Sinhala, monastery. Then, they fall ill. Need medication to protect themselves from ail and ailment. They called it Gilanapatya, food, cloths, medication, and dwellings are essential requirements equally for arahants, bhikkhus, and ordinary people. For that reason, these gifts of four requisites were called sivupasa. We must offer these to them. This becomes a puja. Now, when we offer food to a hungry animal and unenlightened being, we offer them as anugraya, or concessionary. However, when we offer them to Arya Mahasangha, it becomes a puja. That is the reason for calling it a puja. Then, I think this is what they call a misa puja. Wonder whether they coined sivupasa to a misa puja. If a misa puja is that, it is okay. Then, let us assume to give sivupasa as a misa puja. However, to remind what I have said in the beginning, who requires four requisites? Only living beings need these sivupasa. Who needs food? Only those who are hungry. That is why I mentioned when I talked about samasankappa, to offer food to someone hungry. Does a statue need food? Does it feel hungry? No. Then, how can we claim it as a puja with sivupasa, when we place food in front of a statue? Think rationally, be sensible about these acts. Therefore, offering food to a statue is not at all an offering of sivupasa. The Buddha is not in the statue, he had already reached parinibbāna. In lieu of that, if we are practicing the Buddha dhisana, the right thing is to offer that food to someone who needs it. That is worship of the Buddha. Likewise, who need cloth? Only people who are living. We cannot offer shivara to the Buddha. He had reached parinibbāna long ago. We must give them to living people. Then, we can give unenlightened ones. In the other hand, we can offer them to Sangha in the name of Arya Sangha. However, what do? We wrap shivara around bo trees, and some offer atapirikara to statues and images. I have seen this. See what a misapprehension we have. They hang bags of medication on bo trees. Who needs medication? The sick ones, the ailing ones. Are you clear? Okay, dwellings are useful to those who are still living. Hospitality is shown that way, by offering of four requisites. Now, living people require what was described. Only living beings need them. In place of doing them that way, wonder whether they created sivupasa. Later on, some more things were added. Offerings of flowers. Fragrances offerings. Drumbeat, tom-tom sounds as sound puja. Offering of lamps as light puja. Sounding bells as bell puja. I am not sure how these can be considered as Buddha worships or whether they are acts in accordance with the teaching. I do not say it is wrong to offer flowers as paying respect to the Buddha. However, the problem is, having strength to regard the statue as the Buddha, we must feel sad about placing in front of a statue and deceiving ourselves. Why? That is not Buddha. Remember the admonishment to Vakali. He said, my living body is not Buddha. If a person wants to see me, see Dhamma. Now, if we deceive us, treating a statue composed of inert materials such as sand, cement, plaster, and other aggregates as the Buddha, it is a huge self-deception. We would need to face that quandary. Furthermore, the Buddha was the greatest illustrious one, who had valued the environment, appreciated the quietness, and liked the stillness to the highest level, unique among all exalted ones lived in the past. Now, if we make all these deafening noises, with drums, goblets, and other noisy things in front of statue, what kind of a puja is that for him? If it were the real Buddha in the statue, what would he do, or say about these noisy puja? As I have seen these being done, I wondered always how would have the Buddha responded to them? Would he just keep quiet while these drums are being played? How could they be taken as puja? Picture how far we have declined, and how appalling the way we have comprehended the Dhamma. There are many things like this. I should talk about one I heard recently. Let me narrate it. A certain respectable person goes to work daily. She leaves 2 baskets of food in front of Buddha statue before leaves for work in the morning. Leaving both baskets in front of the statue, she says, keeping her palms together, Dear Lord Buddha, I have to go to work, therefore, may you please partake this food basket for breakfast, and the other one for lunch. This has the appearance of a funny story, but it is not. This is what she understands. This is what we were taught. Then, it puzzled me a lot about the breakfast and the lunch. Actually, according to text, Buddha had only one meal a day since leaving the palace for 51 years until Parinibbāna, had taken only one meal. Then, she offered 2 meals in the name of the Buddha, not knowing this fact even. Thus, it has become a problem of that grave. I would like you all to ponder about these and not make fun of it. Think seriously. Face the truth and ponder deeply. The Buddha had eaten only one meal a day, even when he was alive. Now, they offer 2 daily instead of 1, to a statue. Further, drums were not played. All the Buddhas and Arahants, including Paseka Buddhas, observed strictly Nakagita Vardita Vishkada Sanaveramani. They had never gone to witness dancing, singing, and music, did not wear any perfumes or garlands until their passing away. With this background, how can we perform these beating of drums in front of a statue, calling it a puja to the Buddha? Could they conduct dancing, singing, and music even by going inside a Buddhist temple? Then, this is the problem. Thus, I advise you to offer puja to the Buddha. Buddha puja is essential. He is not a Buddhist if he does not offer Buddha puja. Buddha puja is the practice of the Buddha's dhisana. This is very clear. Many dhisana include the admonishment given to Vakali. Next thing that must be remembered, body puja should be there. One who does not do body puja cannot be considered as a Buddhist. What does it mean by the body, then? We have heard them as threefold body. That means Sammā Sambuddha, Paseka body, and Savaka body. The Buddha, Paseka Buddha, and Arahant are known as threefold body. Nibbāna is called body. Then, the Panna and supramundane path is called body. These bodies must be honored. The 4 noble truths that have been discussed all this time in these discussions, as the Noble Eightfold Path, is body puja. That is what the body puja is. However, body puja is not worshipping a tree. The original Asata tree, which supposed to have provided shade on the night he attained enlightenment, is called Mahabodhi tree. It is said to be in Buddha Gaya. A branch of this tree is said to be growing in Anuradhapura, and wherever they are, worshipping either of them is not body puja, not at all a body puja. Remember it well. Body puja is development of the Noble Eightfold Path. Body is Nibbāna. Then, the task of a Buddhist is the worship of Nibbāna. Development of Noble Eightfold Path is body puja. The veneration of the Buddha or the Buddha puja is nothing but practicing the Buddha's dhisana. Next, we must remember another important matter. Similar to body puja and Buddha puja, a Buddhist is a dignified, decent person, a person possessing very high intellect. He does not go after various things for help. We can read in Parinibbāna Sutta in Sutta Pitaka, Venerable Ananda had lamented over the imminent passing away of the Buddha. Then the Buddha had called him and had said very lucidly, Ananda, do not feel sad. I have declared all required dhisana, Dhamma dhisana, had already proclaimed the true Dhamma. I have not hidden anything out. Do not think that there is no Buddha, take my Dhamma as your teacher. After saying that, the Buddha uttered another important statement, Atadipa viharatha atasarana ananasarana. This is very clear. Atadipa viharatha means be an island to you and spend your life. Do not get upset because of my absence. Then, by saying Atadipa viharatha, had asked to reside, making oneself an island to the self. People also have translated this as, be a lamp unto you. It does not matter, pick whichever you prefer. Those who know Pali are learned ones. Shedding light yourself on you, saying a lamp is okay, or you becoming an island to yourself also works. What it says is that you have only you as a refuge. Seek no external refuge, or seek no other refuge in various things available today, such as deities, trees, rocks, Sai Baba, O Sola, or various Dhammadisana offered today and practiced by different type of people. We must not go after them. Be an island to you, self-help, one has to help oneself. By Atadipaviharathuatasarana and Anusarana, the Buddha had said this very clearly, not to go after any external things for help. Thus, keep this well in mind, only one who does these things is the Buddhist. This is the teaching of the Buddha, this is the path, and one who practices this only will free him of dukkha. This Nibbāna Maga ends the dukkha inferno of samsara.